Hello, friends. It is I, the champion of late night TV. The first thing that comes to mind when you hear the expression animal husbandry, me, host Eric, along with my delightful life partner Rachel, sitting beside me with earrings of solid gold.
Solid gold.
Just like the hits of the 70s. Dumb Genius, hello. Good evening. Legends Fall, you're number one. You're number one. You're number one. Good hustle, good hustle. I can't believe he got thrown out at first on a ground rule double. How did you manage that, Legends Fall? Talk about an epic athletic failure. I like Winston's mom's chat here. No, you are personality. You're just a dumb addict person? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a smart addict person. So I'm not sure what it would be like to be a dumb addict person, but being an addict person can be hard. But not anymore. I mean, it's the same for everybody, right? It's like Rachel's mom, she was saying to me the other day, used to talk about her, the expression wasn't retail therapy, although it's a normal one, but it's something equivalent.
That her workout was shopping.
Oh, her workout was shopping.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, then that does explain it, Legends Fall. You get excused.
I interviewed her. I said, Mom, what is your favorite form of working out or something? And she was like, shopping.
Shopping.
Thank you, Winston's mom. I've been trying on looks for Z wedding, and we just came back from the mall because I had something to return at H&M. A beautiful dress that did not fit me. So, but it doesn't matter. I have stuff to wear, so.
You know the old expression, Zennial. Your middle finger's your diddle finger, and that's not polite. So tuck it in your fist and keep it there tight. The old expression.
Really good. That should be really good.
Yeah, your middle finger is your diddle finger. So it's not polite. Tuck it in your fist and keep it tucked there tight.
I like that. I've never heard that before.
Me neither. Dallas, no game tonight? Is that where you've been? You've been playing games? Dallas has a very complicated schedule. Monday night is Monopoly night. Tuesday, it's Sorry. Wednesday, they play water polo. Thursday, he plays checkers. Friday, he plays that old pinball game, Earthquake. Saturday, I don't know. What do you play on Saturday?
Polo?
Regular polo? After playing water polo on Wednesday? That makes sense. We found the LA polo grounds the other day.
Yeah, we did.
Now I know where to go if I want to go play polo. There's a place in Sunland that we drove by looking for this sort of nature area, and that's where you can go to play polo. I also know there's a polo grounds, like a formal one that they have like official games at and stuff up the coast by Santa Barbara. They've got big hedges, so you can't really see into it, but I know it's there.
You know how they say what you find in a person's trash says a lot about them?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I was at a polo match before. Don't remember any of it, except I looked in the trash, and all there were like mini Moet champagne bottles. I was like, whoa, that's how they party.
So, what does it say about me that my trash is filled up with dead swallows that have had their anuses removed? Does it say that I'm the proprietor of Wrong Hole?
Hi, Bendy Anya.
Hi, Bendy Anya. Stay bendy. Stay bendy's a good like stay bendy.
Stay bendy.
In general, to say to people.
Yeah. That is good advice. Winston's mom, have you gotten any feedback about the meetup? I'm a curious kitty.
So it's all this. I would have thought donkeys could handle a ball better. Well, you gotta get authentic Mexican donkeys. If you get donkeys that were raised in America or from Mexican stock, that's not good enough. They never learn how to handle the ball properly. It's a soccer thing, it turns out. Even Mexican donkeys are into soccer. Well, I know we've been over it, but Rachel wasn't here. So I had to let her know that she should be anticipating a trash can full of dead swallows. Because remember, swallow anuses is not merely the number one appetizer on the menu of Wrong Hole. It's also the general command of the restaurant. Swallow anuses. Balderdash, Valerie Elwood. I don't know, how do you play Balderdash? Make up words? It's like a make up word thing.
I have faith in Winston's mom.
I'm not worried about it.
Yeah,
I don't care if we see one person there, two people there, 5 people there. Doesn't matter. I'm not looking for any particular kind of turnout. We're just staying an extra day in Indianapolis. We'd love to meet up with people. If
it happens, it happens.
Oh wait, I see what you're saying, Genzenio. You're reminding me there's actually a coakla. It's not an anus. Thank you for that. If you consider the number of swallows you have to murder to get even one meal, well, this is the thing. And this is why I keep trying to explain to my coworkers and stuff. We've got to start spreading out the dead swallow corpses into other businesses' dumpsters. We can't just put them all in our own dumpster. People are going to be like, aren't you killing an awful lot of swallows? But as you point out, when the football team comes to eat their celebration team dinner after winning the game at Wrong Hole, you think a ravenous football player, he's going to come in there and just eat one or two anuses? No, he's going to eat a big old plate full of like spaghetti heaps worth of swallow anuses. But we still haven't quite run out of Capistrano swallows. Once we've run out of those entirely, then I mentioned already we're considering beginning a speciation program where we figure out which evolutionary pressure will compel swallows to grow anuses since they don't currently have them.
Oh my gosh, this is all news to me.
Well, my thought is this. If you give the individual swallows enough of an advantage when they have toilet paper, then an anus will spontaneously begin growing in the species. Just like when you only have a hammer, whenever you need nails, they suddenly appear.
Yeah, not from previous knowledge.
Oh, well, we already tried. Look, Winston's mom, one of my worst days ever as a chef was when I spent 12 hours making deviled hummingbird anus. Deviled hummingbird anuses are extraordinarily fine work. You've got to take a scalpel, you've got to slit a very thin slit around a teeny little anus. You got to squeeze out all the stuff inside, put it all in a blender, and put it back in the little anus.
Not to mention the odor. I mean, I love your cooking, but that anus is stinky.
There is one part of that hummingbird that does not smell like nectar. If you smell a hummingbird's beak, it's like, what am I, dipping my nose in nectar? But if you turn it around, you're in for a nasty surprise.
Wow.
And that's what we're having. Oh, you're right. I did forget the paprika. Of course, we're going to put paprika on our deviled hummingbird anuses.
Oh, right. Yeah, of course. Is it deviled without it?
Well, I think the deviling process per se only necessitates that the inside part of something be scooped out, blended up, and then put back into it.
See, I
think it's architectural.
I thought that it was because the paprika was on it and it made it hot.
Now, of course, for things that have extraordinarily large anuses, like an elephant or something, it, a single person might not even eat a whole elephant anus. So what we'll do is we'll serve riced elephant anus on the side, or the side dish. It's good to rice things. It's good to rice things and devil things.
It is. You can have your small amount of riced elephant anus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Rachel, have you ever played Yahtzee?
I have.
Do you have good luck rolling the dice?
Sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I used to play it on my phone, but I have to say, when it comes to games, I'm very much I like racing games. I grew up on Nintendo, so I played Mario.
You got it backwards, Broccoli Todd. Elephants evolved from humans.
Oh, that's right.
All you have to do is think about it for a second. Think you evolved by going from smaller to bigger. So the biggest thing is the most evolved. Doy. That's how evolution works.
And evolution does work.
Oh, God, does it work? It works beautifully.
Yeah.
We have created, 12 or 13 different incredibly specific species that do things like do our laundry for us. It's been great, speciating. Do you think elephants are ENFPs, or could the capybara be an ENFP? I think ENFPs are more nutrias than they are capybaras. Very similar animal, but a little bit different.
Hey, Adrian B.
I think your elephants are more like your ISTJs. Nope, I brought my own ball.
And they say an elephant never forgets. So that's good SI, right?
Well, I mean, they say that, but...
No, it's...
let me tell you something. Yeah, it is good SI. Elephants in general are good SI. But if an elephant does forget something, and you call them on it, they will just lie. They will not admit it. They're so proud of their memory. When you catch one of them having forgotten something, didn't you say you were coming over this afternoon at 4:30, Mr. Elephant? I never said that. They get really defensive about it. And elephants, and elephants meow. That's Dr. Seuss poem, Dogs are ESFP, except the smart ones, they're ESTP. I generally think dogs are FE and cats are more FI, although I've met plenty of FE cats too. And I've met some FI dogs. You can tell the FI dogs because they're not jumping all over everybody. And they're just like, I got my one person, that's all I need. And
a little bit more like prima donna.
Yeah, just interested in what they're interested in, not so much people.
Mm-hmm.
But most dogs are more FE and most cats are more FI. Or it's more. There's more FI in cats because cats are just generally quite uncooperative. Like our cat is very nice and agreeable. But if she's sitting on the end of the bed and I say, "Oh, come here, and let me pet you," she'll look at me, kind of close her eyes a little bit, and go back to licking herself. Oh, come to me. And then I go, okay, fine. After begging her for a long time to come over and let me pet her, I go, fine. And I roll over, go to sleep. Then she comes over and goes, meow, and touches me with her wet nose. And I go, okay, now you want pets, huh? It's totally on her terms. It's never on my terms. She doesn't believe in fairness or reciprocal burdens, really. Between a pineapple and a watermelon, which one is more masculine and feminine? Pineapple is more masculine, I'd say. Watermelon is more feminine. What do you think, Rachel?
Yeah, I would agree.
Not opossums, though. Min Habaro. Min Habaro? Is that the minimum amount of Habaro you can get?
Who's James Blackwood, Valerie Alwood?
Did he write Rascal? Did James Blackwood write Rascal? That book about the kid who gets the possum. I mean, not a possum, a raccoon. Possums are so gross, though. They're not cute. No sane human being thinks possums are cute. I mean, even if you like possums, you think they're good creatures or something, you acknowledge, okay, I agree that they're hideous, ugly monsters,
They're
but
scary.
yeah.
Oh, stop.
They're a little
I
more
don't like when you happen upon them. No, it's not like, aw.
They hiss at you with their little filthy marsupial snouts. They're filthy marsupials.
Ew.
Min
I'm
Habaro?
glad you do, Valerie Alwood. Someone has to, right?
I guess somebody has to. What was great was just yesterday I walked out and I saw Trouble and Capillo sitting right next to each other on the ground on the deck, just hanging out with each other. Perfectly peaceful and
Right before that, I had PP noticed. She notices us when we feed Trouble, and I could tell that she was not loving it. Like sometimes we would give her food to him. She would
give her
she'd
leftovers and she gets new food. She has nothing to complain about.
Right, but she would know. So I had to talk with her, and I said, I was like, just because we're feeding Trouble doesn't mean that you're not our kitty pageant winner. Like, you are the most important to us. We just feed him.
We do have a raccoon that comes around, but I don't see him very often. I haven't seen him in weeks now. But he's a little bit concerning because I don't want him to to attack the cat. I think that one time when Pee got her leg all swollen up, and she got bit by something. I think it was probably a raccoon. Could have been a possum, but it was one of the two. I know raccoons are pretty tough. How many ways do you know to cook a pea? Well, you can boil it, pan fry it, bake it, sear it, broil it, flame broil it, barbecue it, smoke it. You could devil it. You could rice it. You could rice your peas.
Ooh, fun! Rice your peas.
Yeah, I think a raccoon would, if they really were serious, they'd kill a cat.
I don't want to have a confrontation with a raccoon.
You won't. Raccoons they'll walk away from you. They won't attack you. But they might get into. They probably wouldn't go out of their way to attack a cat either. But if they find the cat's invading their territory or competing for some food or something, maybe then. I suspect a raccoon would probably kill a cat if they were serious about attacking it. We saw a coyote walking right down the middle of our street yesterday in the broad daylight, and these people at the end of the road. I'm Japanese and would be happy if you speak a few words. Sure. Wakata. Let's see. I could say atashimasu. Well, the coyote, the funny thing is the people at the end of the street were clearly going out of their way to protect their pets, and they followed the coyote back where it had gone. So I feel confident they chased it away.
Yeah, I do too.
The thing is, it's very unlikely for a coyote to come back here in the yard. And the reason for that is because, one, we've got a gate that makes it difficult to get back here if you're a coyote. Probably too tall for the coyote to jump over, unlike the peacock who can fly over it. Number two, there's a fair amount of human activity in my area right here, like this backyard, the decks and stuff. My dad's outside a lot. We're outside a lot. We're up at weird hours. It's very unlikely that a coyote's going to make it into the backyard, and Pee-Pee doesn't really go out front very much. To the extent that she's not in our yard, I suspect she might go over there, which is also yard. We don't have any roads right next to our house.
She's upgraded to the front yard.
She has upgraded to the front yard?
Yeah.
I still don't think she goes in the street much. She's got plenty of space to roam around without having to go into the street.
The farthest she's gone in the front is to the neighbor's driveway. And I try to tell her, I'm like, Pee-Pee, that's not her driveway. But, she's a cat, so I just walk away at that point, and then she knows. She go on walks, and they end when I wanted to. Except, I've gotten better with being patient with her, because, I used to go on little walks with her, and I'd be like, okay, bye, after, 2 minutes, and then she would, claw my calves, be like, no, I'm not done.
I think it's great seeing you go on walks with the cat. Letting the cat take you for a walk.
She takes me for the walk, yeah.
How did our cat get her name? Kimberly named the cat that. For, I don't know why. It's like she thought it was funny or something, but it stuck. Resurgence of bald eagle into lower Michigan has pet owners on alert. Crazy. We have one in our town now.
Really?
On alert lately, I see. Well, you could get a rooster. If you get a rooster, it'll protect your other animals from eagles. It'll probably die in the process, but you can always get another rooster. Of course, it's gonna. Well, we might have one later in the year as well. But the reason we're having a meetup in August is because we're going to Indianapolis for an unrelated reason. We're just staying an extra day. Mm-hmm. Anybody who wants to meet up with us down there is welcome to. It's not really a formal symposium or something,
Mm-mm. No.
We're going there for Rachel's cousin's wedding.
I've never been to Indianapolis before, so I'm excited to go. It'll be nice.
I mean, roosters do that typically to protect the hens, but if they don't have any hens to protect, they'll do it to protect your cats or your dogs too. Every time they see a bird of prey, the gig is amongst hens and roosters that the rooster announces to the hens that there's birds of prey in the vicinity, and the hens go run underneath the chicken house, and the rooster stands out there and stands up big, makes himself look big, and squawks at the eagle or the hawk in the sky. I know this because we had chicken, and we occasionally see birds of prey flying over. And for some stretch of time, we had a rooster until we had to get rid of it because once it started cock-a-doodle-dooing every morning, the neighbors didn't like it. Your ex tried to name your first cat Mufasa. He ended up responding to the name Kitten, and when I'd whistle for him. Well.
So his name was Kitten?
My cat was named by my ex-girlfriend after a fling I had previous to meeting with my ex-girlfriend. So it's like, why are we naming the cat that?
Yeah.
But and it's normally I wouldn't get run over by a narrative matter like that, but the name just stuck. You know, it was just like, I guess the cat's named Capillo. I never called her Capillo. Now I do occasionally. I always call her PP, but
I call her PP and Capillo Strauss. I always at Strauss.
But when I remember Capillo in Hawaiian means sweetheart, I think it's a great name for the cat because she's a real sweetheart.
She is a real sweetheart.
Yeah.
She lets me demonstrate my FI.
She does. Rachel and Capillo has become a lot more talkative since she and Rachel began chatting with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kitty meows a lot. I hear Rachel and Kitty going back and forth. Kitty will go meow, and Rachel will go, oh meow, and then Kitty will go meow, and she'll go meow.
You do me up into my conversation partner. I want her to know she's loved.
She's very loved. I'm not sure. They're speaking a language that just the two of them share. So.
Well, you told me that she says she speaks Morale, so I've been speaking Morale to her.
She does. She speaks mostly Morale.
Yeah.
I think Capillo is mostly telling her things like, hey, look, there's that tree over there.
Literally, yeah.
Do you see that tree? That's a tree that I go to and I smell sometimes.
Yeah. She smells things a lot. It'll be the same places over and over again, but she has upgraded to the front of the house.
That's a good joke by George Carlin. Meow means wolf and cat.
The good George Carlin quote.
That's pretty clever.
Yeah. But Eric said specifically morale. So I was like, oh, well, I will use her language.
She only speaks morale with us, though, because the part is her expressing her affection. Now, sometimes we get the meow, like I don't have any food in my dish, which is not the morale conversational meows that she has with you. It's very different. It's like
wine.
Hey,
yeah.
Hello.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting here, and there's nothing on this plate.
Yeah.
Did you see that hot kitty neighbor who just moved in next door? I haven't, but Trouble I'm sure has. I'm sure Trouble's got a girl at every house, probably.
Yeah.
Yesterday he was spending time with Capillo, but and then she texts him and she calls him, and it's like days before he replies. I mean, he's not serious, girl,
Yeah.
Who is Eric? Does host Eric know? Eric just sounds odd. Who is Eric?
Eric's my boyfriend.
There was that. Eric is somebody who tries a lot but has a hard time, I guess. Sometimes. Who tries a lot but doesn't necessarily have an easy go with things, and sometimes it's a hard time.
Me too.
That's the best description for myself I could come up with. Is there an any you? The TE to be around somewhere. Esoteric. Okay, we're having a hyphen party, I see. Hope everybody brought your own hyphens. We don't provide them here. That you are personality. You're nothing but personality. The funny thing is, when people talk about can you change your personality type, or can you change the way you use your functions or something, it's like I have enough recordings of me and other people near me from years ago to just be inclined to to point out the super obvious thing, which is that's the same person, the same personality back then as it is now. We watched some videos with Delilah in it from like 5 years ago. Obviously, the same person, same personality. You can use underscores, but if you use more than 6, there will be a fee assessed because we don't want to clutter the live chat with excessive underscoreage.
Yeah.
And if everybody's consistently scoring under what they should, then people start to complain. If you need to, you can use the squiggly line called a tilde. Tildes are acceptable.
Oh, Oliver Linehan. Now it looks like there's supposed to be a word there, like on a test.
That's a blank.
A blank.
If nature is a hyphen, then nurture is an underscore. Whoa. Mind blown. We use carrots to counter the underscore. Okay, actually, there's nothing inherently incompatible about carrots and underscore. They're not necessarily mutually exclusive, okay? You can't assume that just because you've got an underscore, you don't also have a carrot. Yeah, I know they can't both fit in the same spot, but pretend they could.
And then it'll happen.
And then it'll happen. That's how you manifest things.
Is that Morse code, Winston's mom?
Yeah. Sometimes called bebop, 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 boop, boop.
Boop, boop, boop.
Bebop, 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 boop, boop. So the story of my grandma. Okay, I will tell you that story.
Oh my God, it's so good.
I mean, the thing is, it's basically articulated in that little 1-minute song. I don't know what made me end up singing about that or whatever. It's just freestyle. And then I went over it.
It's a recent discovery.
It is a recent discovery that I had never heard this before. My dad mentioned it not that long ago that my grandma had cheated to pass the pharmacist exam. Now, from what I initially understand, she took it in Colorado, but she was the first woman pharmacist in Arizona. So I suspect, this is just a little hypothesis that I have, that probably what happened is she was in Missouri. She wanted to become a pharmacist. Probably she knew a guy who proctored that test in Colorado or something, And so she went to Colorado to take it. Probably she took it there knowing that Arizona, and Mia all accept each other's state licenses or something. Mm-hmm. And then she went and opened her second. She was only in Colorado for a little while at the Aurora Pharmacy. And then she went to Tempe, Arizona, where she became the first woman pharmacist in Arizona. But the point is, according to family lore, she cheated on her pharmacy exam to get through because she didn't really have all the knowledge she needed to have. Now, as far as the other things alluded to in that song, my grandmother, she was considered a beauty when she was young, apparently. And she married a guy named Earl who looks a lot like me. I've only seen 1 or 2 pictures of him because he died maybe not before I was born, but I'm not sure. Maybe it was before I was born. But anyway, regardless, she married Earl. Earl was a drunk, and Earl is my mom's biological father. Earl died in a drunk driving accident shortly before I was born, I think. But my grandmother left Earl, and my mom has a memory that she used to talk about of when Earl left, or her biological dad, or got kicked out, that my grandma was walking around with big dark sunglasses on at inappropriate times for a couple of days. So I suspect what happened is Earl punched Gladys, and Gladys said, "That's it, you're done," and got rid of him, Anyway, but my grandmother continued running the pharmacy, And eventually she met Al, who was another pharmacist who was younger than her and very much a dandy of sorts, like dressed really like Frank Sinatra-ish with suits and ties and stuff, you know. Also, big Catholic. And the person who I knew as my grandpa, like my grandmother's husband was my grandfather as far as I was concerned. But he was murdered when I was in 5th grade. He was shot 7 times. I keep coming back, keep reflecting. How can he be shot that many times? Because I don't know, maybe I just didn't, it seemed like too large of a number. So over the course of my life, I had pared it down to 5. But reading all this California State Supreme Court stuff on the case, he was shot 7 times in the stomach by a person not robbing the pharmacy, but by a guy who was on lunch break of a trial in which he was being tried for robbing the pharmacy before. So in other words, my grandfather was supposed to testify after lunch against this guy who had robbed his pharmacy. During the lunch break, before my grandfather left his pharmacy to go testify, the guy rode a motorcycle over there and shot him 7 times and then rode away real quick. And then came back after lunch and said to his own lawyer and before lunch, his own lawyer had said, here, this is a good deal the prosecutor's offering. I think you should take it. And the guy said, okay, well, I'll tell you after lunch if I want to take it or not. And then when he came back from shooting at the pharmacy, he was standing with his lawyer and he's like, yeah, I'm not going to take that deal. And then like the sheriff comes up and informs everybody that Al Cole's been murdered. And apparently everybody is shocked except for one Prentice Snow, who just was like, so anyway, his case, it turns out, made a lot of case law in the California Supreme Court because he had some like inadequate lawyer argument that he was running on appeals and stuff, and it got a lot of ink in case law. So you're able to read quite a bit about my grandfather's murder if you were interested in doing so. Looking up old legal records and stuff online, it's easy for that, pops right up because it's state Supreme Court stuff, you know.
Oh, state Supreme Court.
If you put in Alfred J. Cole, Koll, his shit will pop right up. So, anyway, after my grandfather Al was killed, Grandma started going into decline, I guess you could say. Prior to that, she had been like older than my parents, but basically similar to them in some regard. Well, I mean, the guy's lawyer is saying it's a good deal. Remember, this is 1981, I think, 1981. So what comprises a good deal from a prosecutor in 1981 to a defendant for armed robbery? He goes, he's offering you 5 to 10. That's a good deal. Juan Prentice Snow goes, that's 5 full years in prison. I'll be 33 when I get out, or whatever it was when he did. You know, who knows how old he was? I don't remember. But so he goes, but if I can kill Alfred J. Cole and keep my helmet on the motorcycle and hop back on the motorcycle and ride away, then I won't be caught because nobody will see my face. And in fact, when I read about this case, I'm pretty sure the cops manufactured some evidence. But I still think they got the right guy, but I think they manufactured some evidence. I don't believe they're finding this motorcycle helmet visor that links. I just don't believe their story. But yeah, I guess sometimes justice works like that, where I'm quite confident that he was the right guy. He had means, motive, and opportunity. Well, I believe he got the death penalty. Now he never was executed, but I believe he's still on death row. Yes, he did. Obviously, he did think he could murder the only witness on his lunch break from the court case, and as long as nobody could see his face, that he was going to get away with it. Are you spelling Cole correctly? It's Koll. That's usually the problem, is people don't spell Cole the way that my granddad spelled it. Koll.
Granddad. I like that.
Or you can put in Gladys as well. Alfred J. Cole. Yeah, first one. People versus Snow, 1987. Now, no, this case says 1987. That's 6 years after my grandfather was actually killed, because it went through so many appeals and so much state Supreme Court shit. He was in jail the whole time, but the stuff wasn't resolved until years after the murder. So you see dates on here of 1987. 1987, I was in 10th grade. And when my grandfather was murdered, I was in 5th grade. So.
Wow.
So anyway, I think that's when my grandma really started hitting the Percodans. I think she was taking Percodans, not Percocets. Actually, I said Percocets in the song.
What are Percodans?
They're like Klonopins, kind of.
Oh.
Except they're more pain reliever, I think. Percodan. What's oxycodone?
What's oxycodone?
It's like the most hardcore of those fentanyl kind of drugs. Those opiates that kill people all the time from overdosing on them. I think it's the same. Maybe Percocet may be a brand name for Percodan or vice versa. I'm not sure. But for some reason, in my memory, it's actually Percodan that my grandma had a bunch of and was taking a lot of. But I think she probably didn't do that so much prior to my grandfather's death. She was probably less of a drug abuser. But she also used a lot of painkillers in part because her feet were all fucked up from a lifetime of working in a pharmacy in high heel shoes. And her feet were all like gnarly, like Chinese woman bound foot shit. How did she die? She died of a stroke. And she was 82, I think. Wow. Same age as my parents. And 69 IQ that says, Eric, you seem to have been a good student. When or how did you get into drugs? I would not particularly call myself a good student. So I managed to get through college and get a BA in English, but I certainly wasn't anywhere near the top of my class or anything. I was probably closer to the bottom, except we didn't have grades at Santa Cruz. Classes are very frustrating things for me. And have always been frustrating because there was never adequate linkage between what's happening in the classroom and why I'm sitting here in the classroom. So nobody bothered ever to explain to anybody really why you're here. And of course, every teacher should periodically justify themselves to the students, like, okay, so this is why I'm using your time like this. Some teachers are incredibly disrespectful of children's time.
Yeah, there really are a lot of them. Do you think that just as many kids asked, why am I here?
No. I don't think I really asked it either.
I did.
Oh, you did. I don't think I
was
asked
like,
it.
why am I learning this shit? That's not like...
I think I had never experienced anything real until after college. So I didn't know what it was to do something real. School is all, let's have children practice work for 12 fucking years. Are you kidding me? Maybe they should have you do actual work that matters in some regard instead of just have important theater. In other words, it makes it onto the refrigerator or not because you got an A or a C or some other letter on it. It's like, ay, what a nightmare.
Seamus, I hear you with the color-coded dividers. Oh my gosh. We didn't have it. I don't know if I had it in grade 2. We used a lot of those like marbled books. And sometimes, I don't know. Yeah, we used the marbled books a lot. And then as we got older, I'd say probably 6th grade, we got the tabs.
I mean, the thing is, what frustrates me is nobody said to me when I was a kid or tried to explain to me at all what the difference between things that were real and things that weren't. So it's like being a kid means having a limited amount of time that's your own time in which you get to play. And then much of your time being directed by these other people who say words as to sort of position themselves as explanations, but don't really explain anything, Like, oh, it's very important to get good grades in school. Okay. Because then you'll be able to go to college. Okay. I guess I understand that. Why do we need to go to college again? So you can get a good job. Okay. Well, so you don't poor. Okay. I get that, I guess. So that's why we're doing this? So, but see, the thing is, what somebody needs to do is what I tell kids all the time. Look, you're probably experiencing some cognitive dissonance here because what they don't tell you in school is that being a student means having your time arbitrarily wasted by idiots all the time. And it's probably pretty frustrating. You're not sure why you're there. You're forced to be there. Nobody's explaining it to you. Some teachers don't even want you to learn. They want you to obey, like Jeffrey's English teacher, right? She made a special rule prohibiting him from all the students from getting any instruction from outside teachers on the subject matter during her class. In other words, she didn't want her tutors to help with this or whatever. Well, the problem is, of course, she was completely unrealistic about her expectations for. She's an ENFP, she assumes, she projects her frame of reference that everybody can come up with random shit easily onto everybody. And then her actual standards and expectations are arbitrary, but she understands the need to explain what her justifications, her requirements and stuff are, but she doesn't want to be constrained by that at all. She wants to be able to shift the goalpost anytime she feels like it, right? So the problem is, what needs to happen is every time there's an ENFP teacher who's acting like that, we should have should be like a bar rescue thing. You know that bar rescue show where these like, I guess they're super knowledgeable bar owners or something. But anyway, they go around and they go to, oh, okay. Hi, Joe of Joe's Bar. So you say your bar is failing. But we're here to revamp, renew, and revitalize your bar so that you can make money again. It's like that kind of show. You know what I'm talking about? Right. Well, they need to have that where I go around to people, explain to them, the teachers, the ENTP teachers, explain to them how awful and wicked and evil and wrong they are.
I have to say I had one mean ESTJ. Actually, it could have been ENTJ too, math teacher. She didn't understand how I wasn't learning, and she singled me out in class, and I would be spending time in a side door closet that linked to another classroom to take the test because they thought that I had a learning problem. I was like, I just don't understand your way of teaching.
You don't need to understand. This is Mr. Miyagi-style. You're painting the fence, trusting that you'll learn what I expect you to learn from it. And you go, okay, but look, I'm pretty good at painting fences now. My arms are really sore. I still can't block at all.
Yeah.
So really, you just made me paint your fence for no reason.
Mrs. Weintraub.
So you need to explain to me why I should do it this way.
Yes.
Or else I'm not going to do it that way because you're probably stupid.
Her thing was that I didn't do homework.
I said, it's what fucking this person here says. Here, the teacher said. Since when the goal of public education teachers laying claim on students' time away from school. The teacher has an hour to teach them during the day. That's what they're supposed to do during that hour. If they fail to do their job during that hour adequately, how can they delegate their job to the students? I fucking hate homework. I won't get it. It's like Rachel will attest to the fact that many of the occasion Winston's mom, Jeffrey's mom said, "Oh, maybe you could give them some homework." I'm like, I don't give them fucking homework. Stupid. Hate it. I don't like doing homework myself.
A lot of people, 69 Kuda said that I am an airhead. I mean, I'm not an airhead, but I can be. It was just that she was like, I remember answering, she was like, what goes around, but never, what goes.
What goes around comes around?
Yeah, something like that. And I was like, I raised my hand and I said 0. And she was amazed that I knew
Oh, it was I'm sorry, it was some sort of riddle, what goes around but doesn't have anything inside
yeah.
it?
But something like that. Or that's never ending. And then I was I knew that the circle is complete. There's no break.
You intuited the answer.
Right.
I remember I was upset one time in class in elementary school because the teacher was saying, does anybody know or can you figure out when we use the or the? And I was like, we use the in front when it comes before a word that starts with a vowel. And she's like, yes, that's right. But of course, your mom's an English teacher. So I'm like, the fuck? I figured that shit out myself.
Yeah.
My mom. I was really upset. I mean, I don't think
that would upset me too. I'd be
as a little kid, I didn't confront adults.
No, you don't. You just secretly inside. You see exactly inside. It's terrible. I'm lucky to have had a really great kindergarten teacher. She was all about learning through creative art and was very patient with kids. So she's creative and patient, which made for a really good kindergarten teacher. Every teacher I had after her, it was my parents just didn't understand. They were like, you always get stuck with the bad teachers. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. I try my best. Hey, Max Kemp, what's going on?
The problem that is for INFJ is you walk in the room, probably within a week, you're like, ugh,
Yeah.
I get the limitations of this person teaching me, and that I'm going to bang my head against the wall to try to deal with this, and then you just end up feeling powerless because if you can't FE it,
no,
and they're not responsive to TI, then you're fucked because you got no TE in the mix, really.
Yeah.
You know? So if they're not responsive to fairness and they're not responsive to schmoozing, then what do you do?
Yeah, I was a polite slacker. You know, like my school, when it came to school meetings, you know, with the meet the parent night, you know, they would always come back with, oh, you know, we love Rachel, blah, 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 but, you know, they would never talk about my grades.
I mean, I wish I could go redo school now, keeping all of my adult wisdom. I would wreak unbelievable havoc in the system.
Yeah, you would.
But, of course, nobody gets to have that beautiful dream come true. Boy, no teacher would ever pull any shit on me, or nobody pull any shit on me now. If I go back and redo childhood, I would have much better sense of my boundaries.
Yeah, you would. I think I would too.
Your solutions for your exams. And your BLT is fighting with anxiety. I'm sorry to hear that. I hope your BLT feels better later. Just be glad it's not your BLM. That'd be even worse.
Happy Pride Month, by the way.
Hey, Dad. This is for the cat. This is for the cat. This is dewormer.
Oh, dewormer for the cat. I'm an INFJ nerd, and I need not host Mark in my life, so salty peanut. Wait, are you an INFP? Since Oceanics, the little P means INFJ.
Thanks, Dad. It's a pill. We gotta smush it in our food. Well, Rachel, I've got good news. We're finally gonna get rid of your pesky worms. It has been so disgusting. Every time Rachel's pooped in the yard recently, she left this big pile of writhing tapeworms.
Well, I gotta mark my territory.
Yes, but you can mark it with just regular poop. We don't need the tapeworms. So that's why we got this tapeworm dewormer. It's a tapeworm dewormer. It's a cat dewormer. Right? Isn't this cat dewormer, not tapeworm dewormer? It doesn't deworm tapeworms. The tapeworms don't have parasites within them eating some of their food. It deworms cats. Why is it called tapeworm dewormer? Right? Am I right?
You really are, and that really disturbs me. What, Rich Mac? What do you mean, holy frig?
I'm curious about what. Oh, that's right. This is what I'm curious about. Look, it's your boxing opponent, Rachel. Salty Peanut.
Yeah. Well, it's so weird. Like, I would pet Kitty, and then like there'd be like this sticky like white thing, and I thought it'd be like something she brushed up against, and it would be like a living thing, and it was one of those tapeworms.
Who said anything about ENFP for you? I said you're her boxing match opponent. I didn't say anything about ENFP. As far as I know, you're an INFJ. Which is part of what makes it an interesting fight.
an INFJ versus an INFJ.
Yeah. Both
It's like
under
both,
5'5".
it's gonna take forever for stuff to happen, like not until like the last couple rounds.
It's the short girl division. Nobody over 5'5" allowed in this division. Who's trying to stay relevant? Nobody's got anything about ENFPs. I'm just saying nobody was saying salty peanuts an ENFP, as far as I know. She's saying she doesn't know she's an ENFP. She doesn't think she is, but
Thank you, Salty Peanut. I take that as a compliment.
you know what? That makes you a happy drunk too, salty peanut. That's the best kind of drunk.
Yeah.
Much better than a sad drunk or
I
an angry
appreciate
drunk.
it. Right back at you, Salty Peanut. Love you too.
Yeah.
And that's why. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Maybe I didn't interrupt your
No,
song.
you didn't. Go ahead.
That's what makes like this like boxing match so difficult, because it's like, you know, there's actual feelings of joy that we have towards each other instead.
I got to cover 69 Cuda. I'm going to go on your date with you and sit in a booth behind you, but secretly with a big hat on.
Oh my gosh.
When there's a lull in the conversation, I'll whisper things to you, like, tell her she's got nice legs.
Oh my gosh.
You have nice legs. Well, thank you. Ask her if you can stroke them gently.
Please.
Can I stroke them gently? We haven't even gotten my salad. Eric, you're terrible at this.
You think of your ex. That's a good person to picture. I'm
Just remember this, is kind of cute. Girls love it when you gesticulate really largely while you're speaking, like this. That really turns them on. So it'll be like, hello, very nice to meet you. That's one way to make sure you get chicks. Another thing is, when on a first date, you want to say, no, I'm saying, at least like 30 times. Okay, so like, I'm gonna get the turkey sandwich. Know what I'm saying? Girls love that. You could pull a Jake Paul. You know what really tends to work a lot also with chicks is got your hat.
also calling them, what was it? Fat head?
Big head.
Big head.
Like this.
Look,
Okay, so she's kind of cute. I want you to try this. You're gonna imagine Rachel is a girl named Lorraine who's sitting at a local diner. You pass by the big plate glass window. She's daintily eating her corned beef hash and occasionally glancing at her phone. You just walk right in there and go, excuse me, miss. Got your hat. And then run out of the store. Run out. And so she has to chase after you. That's when you know you're in control of the situation, when you've got the girl chasing after you because you've stolen something from her.
These are facts.
Yeah. I was discussing that with Rachel earlier, how it's weird the things that captivate the world's imagination. Jake Paul and Logan Paul, one could imagine that they theoretically could have sat around strategizing about how to get attention for themselves for many, many hours, coming up with many possible ideas. But they didn't. They just went with beautiful, pure, full slot NI. I got an idea. Got your hat. It's like, that's not an idea. That's petty theft. But sure enough, they got everybody from the ESPN broadcasters during the biggest fight of the year to Sports Center broadcasters to Google News, everybody, all these publications writing and talking about it. Because why? Because he took Mayweather's hat.
It's been like floating around the news. I heard about it on Instagram.
It's what I linked it to. I didn't realize it was a real name, but I said to Rachel, I was like, it reminds me of Sad Dog from or Birthday Dad from BoJack Horseman. Like, BoJack Horseman, not BoJack Horseman, Peanut Butter, Mr. Peanut Butter walks into the grocery store, goes to the card section, and sees a card that says, Happy. And he opens it. Birthday Dad. Aha! It's a birthday dad. It's a great idea for a show. Well, what's the idea? It's a birthday dad. Well, what is that even? But it totally blows up and becomes super popular, right?
God.
That's about as smart as Got Your Hat, right? Birthday dad. He got it from the inside of a birthday card at the supermarket.
That show is so good. The show is so good.
Well, that's true, Cotton Cat. If I had stolen her hat and it got as much media coverage as Jake Paul's hat stealing got, then I would have made her famous, and she may or may not appreciate that, depending on whether she's an extrovert or an introvert.
Jay Stewart asks, how is Spacey?
I don't know. I talked to his girlfriend not a super long time ago.
Yeah.
But I never, without respect to their combined 15th slot SE, it's hard to get things actually done. Like contact them and go like, okay, well, we sort of communicated to each other that we're interested in at least not, maybe he's interested in not hating me. I'm not sure.
It sounds like it.
But and then at that point, the urgency or any not that there was ever any great urgency, but the urgency in the matter goes way down because you realize, well, there's nothing really urgent to fix then. If we've always sort of agreed in principle that it could or should be fixed, then I'm in no hurry to actually get it done, I guess. I feel sad about the loss of Spacey from my life. Mostly, I liked working with him on music. He was a pain in the ass, but I like doing things with multiple vocal lines. If Spacey were around, I'd have both Spacey and Rachel and sometimes me singing, So that's sad, but no, he's not still with that girl from Reddit. Well, there was this big sort of rift that happened when it began to open when Spacey invited this girl from Tori to live with him, even though he was just staying in the basement of our house. And I said, well, Kim says no, and so we should respect that. We're going to respect that. And he said, well, she's flying in, and either we'll pick her up or she's leave her homeless in LA. I was like, I guess I'll go pick her up. But I don't think he'd bother assuming another identity. I think he knows that I don't bear him any ill will. I never have expressed any ill will towards him.
I do too. I think he would show up. Well, he might watch and not say anything, but I wouldn't be surprised if, like, down the road he would say hello, and it would be really him.
Yeah. The thing is, why did Kimberly and I break up? Yeah, that's true once in a while. Because Kimberly was borderline personality disorder, and I couldn't take it anymore. So
Like, I was thinking about us being in borderline relationships, and it's like, do you think like they could ever be in a relationship? Like, it just seems so. It's like it just seems so difficult.
Oh, yeah, I don't really think they can. Why did me and Spacey break up? Well, that was because, um, you know, Kimberly and I discussed it and agreed to invite him to stay with us in Laverne. And he was there with us in Laverne for a few months. But then the relationship broke down and I broke up with her. I still felt somewhat responsible for Spacey's situation. And I tried to do a number of things to make sure he and Tori both had housing out here. However, it's like I could only afford to keep that up for a couple of months, funding their housing. And Tori, being extremely BPD, was putting Spacey in a very difficult situation because, of course, you want to support your significant other. If they're having some sort of battle, you want to make sure you're supportive and on their side, and you recognize that loyalty is sometimes the most important thing, right? Like, if in fact there's an unfixable rift between two people in your life, and one of them is your significant other, the other person's going to get the shaft, basically, which is kind of how it should be, I guess. Or unless, I mean, there shouldn't be that rift. But with Tori and me, there definitely was a lot of conflict because, well, I mean, I had just gotten out of that fucking relationship, and what I was seeing was pissing me off because I still had a lot of anger about never being able to get through to Kimberly. Like, she never listened to me, My words, it was like she wrapped them in no hear tape and then wrapped that in concrete blocks and threw it to the bottom of the ocean so it would never reach your ears. Eric, what is a fourth slot NI person looking for their partner to provide specifically? Well, I think they're probably looking to have effective, the right kind of check and balance against their SE. An action type tends to be impulsive, can undertake a sort of sudden plan to do something without adequate attention to SI. So this is true for both NE DOMs and SE DOMs. We might get in the car and go on a 6-hour trip and not really are prepared to go on the trip adequately. I'm just going to drive a couple freeways over there to this fishing spot. You realize, it's halfway into, you realize, oh shit, it's a full day's expedition. I was just sort of imagining that I'm going to squeeze it in here or something. The NI person is much more likely to think realistically about prescribed or proposed actions than is the action type. To be an action type means to not first and foremost spend time deliberating about the sensibility of your notion. Yeah, perspective, I guess, but okay. Today, Rachel and I pulled into the mall, and I was going to go park in my normal SI spot, which is the same parking lot I always park in, which is the one at the bottom of the little valley in front of Nordstrom's. I always park in that parking lot, or unless I'm going to the Cheesecake Factory or something on the other side. So, but Rachel, we were going to the mall today because she was returning something to H&M. Now, some of you who've been following along may be completely unable to believe this, but yes, Rachel got purchased, tried on, and returned yet another dress.
It didn't fit.
But regardless, so when we pull in the parking lot, Rachel's like, "Well, H&M's over there," and I'm like, "Okay, well, that parking lot's kind of crowded, but let's check it out." And she's like, "I'm sorry, I don't mean to be bossy." I'm like, "No, you're right, of course. We should go see if there's a parking spot close to H&M." Sensible NI thing, not just park wherever you normally park, regardless of where you're going. It's that's SI just throwing too much autopilot into SI. So we did drive over to where the H&M was, and sure enough, we got like TV parking. We got the very best spot we could possibly get. The is right there. I mean, we walked right in. It was really easy, really fast. That's probably what the SE Dom needs as well, because they're ignoring SI, whereas I'm not so much ignoring it as shushing it. Shh. I'm thinking about other stuff. Shh.
No, but I really am glad that we went today because I don't like to have.
No hair, no hair. I got 2 rules for my Brazilians. Number 1, no hair. Number 2, no hair. I only want deaf, waxed, bald Brazilians. Was thinking about NI and asked, what am I not doing? What am I repressing? And one of the things I came up with is perspective, as in, where am I? What am I doing? How does it fit, etc.? How does it fit in the big picture? Right. For example, when we went fishing the time, and I said, "Oh, Rachel, let's fish here," but it was a spot with kind of a you have to be kind of a precise fisherman because there's a lot of branches, otherwise Rachel kept getting stuck there, and like an idiot, of course, I'm going, "Okay, well, you know what? No, this place is fine. We just need to try throwing it more a little bit like this, and then maybe we could get it." And she's like, "Are you sure we shouldn't just move over there?" I'm like, but wait a second. Yes, we should move over there. What am I doing? Why am I trying to? Well, it's like what I did with the fucking rug doctor. The rug doctor machine, I got home from the supermarket, got home with it from the supermarket, and I started to try to use it. It didn't work properly. What I should have done right then is take it back to the store. But I just come back from the store. I didn't want to go to the store. So I spent much longer than it would have taken me to go to the store fixing the store's vacuum cleaner, which I successfully did. And then by the time I was done with all the fixing of it and playing around with other stuff, I got tired of cleaning the carpets. And it was too late to clean the carpets with the thing. I had to return at 7 o'clock this morning. So, I mean, that's some shitty NI right there. You are not getting the point of this, Eric. You got the rug doctor to clean the rugs, not to clean the rug doctor.
So maybe this whole dress thing is ignoring any things.
I mean, I think you're absolutely valuing any in a backslot way, which is it's always good to have an extra couple of options.
Yeah,
right? That's
what I fucking
fifth slot absolute value any. Front stack first slot by any is probably the only kind of any that really knows when not to any. Like for something like that, Rachel, you won't be satisfied with what you're wearing until and unless you're like, okay, I just tried it on. Open my eyes. oh my God, that's it. This is what I am wearing. I will never look at another dress until you get that sensation when you look at yourself in one of these dresses. You're going to continue waiting for NI. That's part of an absolute value of any. Just I can always do another another dress, try another dress, and if I don't like it, I can return it again. And you can. It's totally okay. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying you shouldn't.
It's so annoying though because like
you're not going to be satisfied with NI.
I always found that I'm able to shop for like casual things. I know how to dress for casual things, but dressing up is not something that I do very often. Like you always say, the Marianne versus Ginger. Like Ginger would know how to dress for a wedding. I don't know how to dress for a wedding.
Rachel, you are doing the most amazing job with your wardrobe at this upcoming wedding. I am so proud of you, putting so much time and effort into making sure your ensemble matches, my ensemble matches, our spirit of marriage is conveyed in our clothing. These are important duties that you're fulfilling, Rachel.
Wow. I feel like I'm in another world.
I'm pretty good at talking to you about clothes, right?
Yeah.
When I try.
Oh my gosh, no, I totally like. I need
I mean, I have pretty good. I'm a pretty good girl when it comes to talking about clothes. I say, okay, well, we talked about whether or not she should, what kind of. Well, of course, this is an instance where I shouldn't have used extroverted intuition, but I did. She said, I'm wearing these shoes to the wedding because they're easy to dance in. Can you please show the shoe? This shoe. And I said, oh, well, if you want shoes that are easy to dance in, you should just wear sneakers. And then we had a conversation that I'm sure almost always two girls have, which is whether or not and if and how you could pull off sneakers at a semi-formal wedding if you're a girl. And what I was suggesting is as long as you make it sort of a piece of the ensemble. So in other words, let's say you've got shiny new Nike sneakers, white sneakers, and you've got referential element of white, like pearls or something, and a black dress, and then maybe the stockings are mirror that pearl shape somehow in their design or something. Then you could pull off sneakers perhaps. But it's easier if you're a dude. If you're a dude and you're wearing a nice suit, you've got a nice pair of clean sneakers, you're just a little cooler version of a fancy business person. And then everybody gets it. It's not like anybody's gonna roll their eyes. But with chicks, it's a little harder because they have, first of all, they pay a lot more attention to each other than guys do. Like I don't pay nearly as much attention to what guys are wearing as girls tend to pay attention to what girls are wearing.
Yeah.
This is backwards.
But like I do ask for your opinion and stuff. It matters to me.
And also, you asked me what color had my wedding to Candace been.
Yeah.
And I successfully remembered it as orange, I was pretty sure. And then when we were looking at some picture of Delilah, we came across a picture of Delilah when she was, I don't know, probably 11 or 12. It'll always be an option as long as he's single, as long as I'm not talking while I've been drinking. I mean, Nano's Mark's kind of intense. Are you sure about that? I mean, I've hung out with the guy enough to know that being with him there's a lot of like important things all the time. He also it tends to be like, because he maybe hitting the addy a bit too hard or something. He's certainly smart and interesting. Cool. I've hung out with him on multiple occasions. In fact, I gave him a gift of a Russian communist propaganda poster that I got in Moscow back in the day. I said, he expressed so much admiration of it. I said, you know what, Mark? I've had this thing long enough. It no longer fits my shtick. It said on the poster, it said, protect your it was in Russian, obviously, but it said, protect your textbooks. Your young comrades will need them in the coming school year. And it had these kids, like, all in their little, with, like, communist red cravats and standing next to their desk, looking all happy to be part of the workers' paradise. It's pretty cool, kind of 60s era, probably, propaganda poster. It was legit, authentic, but he expressed so much admiration of it, and I realized I've been just carting this thing around with me and then storing it wherever I go for years now. I never even mixed it onto the wall. I just gave it to him. I said, here, you can have this. And he took it back to Arizona, and hopefully he still has it, and hopefully he likes it. I don't know. You got the sense that, he's a big history guy too. So I got the sense that he appreciated it because of all of the historical stuff around it. Not just because he got to look cool or something.
Yeah.
Legends Fall, he's like the trouble of live chatters. He's that handsome devil that comes around and woos the lady cats. Stop wooing the lady cats. You're gonna scare everybody off. It was his philosophy of religion that me totally captivated. Yeah, well, I've watched his religious beliefs evolve since he first came around. How do you know that about Legends Fault? Does he have a channel or something? When's his mom? Hanging out with him on the side.
Oh.
God, how many women around here are you poking? Legends Fall. Is that what you mean by legends? You mean women? Women fall at the side of me. Ah. Have you ever watched anybody here? How Not to Summon a Demon Lord or whatever? That show
I have, but I don't remember.
That was what we watched this morning. Where he had to recharge her.
Yes. It's so sexual.
It's so borderline hentai, but it's always like you think you're having sex, and then when they show what he's actually doing, he's just sticking his fingers in these two holes in her back where she supposedly gets recharged with her magic. But she, it's
pretty sexual.
Yeah, but when Rachel woke up this morning, I had to re-show her that scene. I just finished watching it. I'm just like, oh my god.
Yeah, they pushed the envelope with that.
Yeah, they did. But that's what that cartoon does. It's the best cartoon at doing that by far. It's the only cartoon that I sort of excuse it entirely because it's part of its shtick.
It is.
It's kind of a critical part of its shtick. Whereas a lot of times it's just as they say in the weeb community, fan service. Which is like
fan service?
Just putting arbitrary TNA in the anime. Anime fans call that fan service. It's like the anime could tell their story just fine without having all the girls practically naked, but fan service insists that at least some of them be practically naked.
Well, Ren and Stimpy had like,
I typed Legends Fall? No, I did not.
No, I don't think you did.
Did I?
I
He must have gone by some name like Tom Stevens or something. Some alias. Panty counts. I've just recently started watching on Netflix the anime called Seven Deadly Sins. And that's pretty funny how like there's the main captain is the Mephistius, the king of wrath, the captain of the Seven Deadly Sins. Like they're walking in the forest, and the girl who's got on a typical dish towel length skirt, it's just like barely below just straight up visible camel toe. But anyway, so she's like, something just touched my butt. And then Melodious is like, oh, don't worry, it was just me. And she's like, oh, because they're in the scary forest. And then she's like, wait. And then she realizes her panties are gone.
Oh my god, it's so funny.
Like, where could I possibly have left them? And then Melodious uses the fact that she's not wearing any panties to distinguish her from the illusionary versions of her that the enemy is producing. And then says, oh, and here's your panties back afterwards. She's like, what? Ow? It's really funny.
Oh my gosh. That is funny.
Yeah. Owner of the renowned tavern Boar Hat. The Boar Hat is called the Boar Hat because there's this talking pig that hangs out with them. It's a regular sized talking pig when it's hanging out with them. However, when it's time to move on, they go back to their house, and the pig digs under the ground and turns giant, and then the house rides on the back of the pig, and then the pig takes them to the next town.
Oh, how convenient.
Yeah.
I swear anything can happen in anime.
Yeah. Good anime makes me so happy, but I've become very very picky about it. Like Seven Deadly Sins, I watched it at 1.5 speed. I think I watched it at 1.25 speed. If I'm watching a show at 1.25 speed on Netflix, that means it's a very good anime, probably. Mm. If I can watch it at 1.5, it's probably pretty disposable. If I'm comfortable watching it at that speed, then it's going way too slow in real time, And I never really feel like if it's a really good, exciting part, sometimes I'll slow back down to normal speed because I don't want it to go faster,
So you typed Legends Fall as an ENTJ at one point.
I did? Well, guess that makes you an ENTJ then.
Oh! Maybe that's why.
I don't think you're an ENTJ, Legends Fall. I've talked to you enough to think that I don't think you're an ENTJ.
That's so opposite. Usually people come in here and they're...
No, I mean, the thing is, if I mistyped you, just put the blame on me. Because I should be able to see through that shit. I shouldn't be susceptible to bad self-reporting. I don't think I would be now. I've gotten better. I continue getting better at it the more I do it. As I learn what things link more strongly and what things link less strongly, I abandon some kind of questions and embrace others as more successful ways of getting to the bottom of something.
Part of the reason why I'm so excited for you to meet my family is so that we can type them too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
It's a good way to start conversations with people too. It's like my natural thing to do. Legends Fall says he's ESTP, and I've been operating under the assumption that he's ESTP for as long as he's been around here. I didn't know I typed him. He probably went by a regular name, not by Legends Fall when I typed him. What was my justification? SI polar? Or I thought you was ENTJ? Did you seem real SI polar or something?
Maybe we can find out what icing means.
Oh, yeah. I cannot figure out icing in hockey.
Yes. So, like, I don't mean to, like, stereotype Canadians, but do you have the answer, Legends Fall?
It's like every time I think I have it,
is?
every time I think I have it figured out, I go, well, that must not be icing because of Mia. And then they go, icing. I go, wait.
I can't tell. It goes
and
so
then
fast.
sometimes you go, okay, this is going to be icing. And it gets all the way down to the other end, and then it's not icing. And even if the other team touched it first. Well, I mean, the fact that you dismissed it is not a good enough reason for me to not continue to hammer it. So that's I don't accept my own. I don't accept your behavior as a justification for my failure to type you, unless you were willfully, intentionally trying to mislead me. I see it as an infraction when a player shoots the puck over the center red line and the opposing team's red goal line in that order, and the puck remains untouched without scoring a goal, provided it's touched after it bounces by the opposing team first, right? I think this is where I keep trying to figure it out, because sometimes that happens and they don't call icing. I don't understand it.
So, Peter Dentice, would you say that, like, hockey refs are, like, not the greatest?
Well, I did see this other situation.
That's
yeah,
what I mean.
We were watching this hockey game. I'm not experienced. Hockey is one of my least experienced sports as a viewer. We don't watch a lot of hockey in Los Angeles. But
dumping the puck.
We watched
own blue line. Oh,
we watched this one guy from Boston Bruins, and here comes the Long Islanders guy. He's skating along, right? And he stops like he's gonna pass or shoot, and this guy just plows right into the back of him and knocks him over. No penalty. Then a little while later, I see the Capitals guy. I mean the Islanders guy. They're doing the normal check shit up against the boards, you know, and he pushes them down from behind, and he gets called for a penalty. And it's like, I'm sure I see that often when they're standing around there pushing each other, and you don't usually call anything. And if you're calling because he pushed him from behind, what about that one that just happened a second ago?
Yeah,
where this guy just totally collided into him?
Like, is it hard to be?
I don't know.
Because, like, it was so obvious. I don't know. Maybe they left some. I don't know. I do not know. I get
slashing. I get tripping. I get high sticking, I think. But sometimes I think that seems like the stick's high, but they don't call it. But I think I get it. Basically, it means if you got it up around someone's face or something, right?
It seems like sometimes they call it and sometimes they don't.
Trying to figure out the rules of hockey by observing hockey and what get called, you will be confused. That's what I've been trying to do.
I think the best way to learn is to go.
Google it. That's what
Google it.
Instead of ever Googling it, Rachel and I just sit here watching hockey, musing about what the rules might be, you know. Yeah, I thought that too, Rachel, but then they would have called that thing that, you know.
Even though I've been going.
Just lifting your stick high is not high sticking. If you hit someone in the face, it is? Oh, okay. Well, wouldn't that be slashing? What about slashing, though? Isn't that slashing? Or if it's in the face, it's high. Why do they just call it high slashing? Then?
What are the rules?
Isn't slashing when you hit somebody with your stick?
That's what I thought, too. Oh my god. And I actually like have been to hockey games. Like I had friends who were like just nuts about it, but they never taught me about it. I just like intuitively understood the game. You know what I mean? Like
Slashing is hitting someone when
too high.
Not too high.
Is not
High
too
is
high.
too high.
It's not too high.
So I see. High sticking is slashing when you're hitting
So it's
them
like
when your stick is too high.
Like their chest area.
Is it more of a penalty to high stick than slash? Do you get like 4 minutes for high sticking and 2 minutes for slashing or something? Tripping's straightforward enough. I saw a clear tripping instance in the game.
It is.
Where it was like
2 minutes.
I think you could also get in trouble for cutting at people with the bottom of your skate. Maybe?
Yeah, I believe that's a rule too.
Yeah, I don't think you can chop at them with your bottom of your skate, unless you draw blood. Then it's a double minor. I love the way hockey has fist fights in it.
The fans love it too.
Every other sport is so like, oh, the vapors. Oh my goodness. A player punch another player. Oh my lord.
Oh my god.
Hockey's like, okay, let them punch each other until we see one person's won, and then we'll separate them.
Yeah.
And the announcers for the hockey game call it like a boxing match.
Yeah.
They call it like a fight. Oh, look at that there. Cooper's really getting up under there. Yeah, he's got him with an uppercut and another uppercut. Nice left. Oh my goodness.
Both participants fight for fighting. No wonder they don't really fight anymore. You really like see a tussle.
But that's not a man down then. That encourages them to fight. As long as you guys are both fighting, you'll both go in the penalty box for 5 minutes, and your team will. I don't know. If you both are a man down, do you get to replace that man?
No.
So you just both play with four people for 5 minutes. So it's not a disadvantage unless you think you're better shorthanded or something.
For 5 minutes. That's such key though. Those 5 minutes are so key.
But there's no power play either direction. And they can still change shifts, right? They can still push new guys onto the ice and put the old guys on the bench. You probably have to switch people back and forth more often with 4-on-4.
We had a question about that also. Like, how often does that happen? Like, is there how long are the people on the ice?
Is there some sort of like clock that we don't see that says when those happen? Like, is there like a shift change clock, like a shot clock?
Right.
But
like, how do they know? I was telling host Eric that I took skating lessons, but the farthest that we got were it's on the fly.
So the coach just says, "Okay, guys, switch."
Holy shit! I had no idea.
Oh wow,
that's so fascinating.
One of the announcers said in the hockey game the other night, it was like, "Whoa, it's been a long shift. They've been out on this ice for like 4 or 5 minutes now, and you can see Fleury really getting tired." Like that kind of Canadian style talking. Oh, the third base coach signals them. Thank you, Peter Denchiki. Finally, someone's making sense around here.
You gotta have that third base coach there.
I gotta say though, of all the various sports that Rachel and I enjoy watching together, we do like watching sports together.
We do. I like watching. We both.
I
like
find
watching
hockey
sports.
the most fun to watch.
It is so fun. I'm so glad you find it.
It's so exciting, and it's not so many commercials. There's not. The thing I hate about basketball, you can barely make it down the court 2 times without a penalty being called. Yeah. Somebody taking it out of bounds or shooting a free throw. And there's commercials every freaking 5 minutes. Soccer is kind of like the extreme version where you don't get any commercials for the whole half. But the worst thing about soccer is kind of like hockey. You can't walk away from it for a second. It's like Rachel and I it was the intermission of the game. I think this was game 1 or something. The Islanders were down by 2 goals, and then we went away for the intermission. We came back a little bit late, and they were tied.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell happened? We missed like 30 seconds of the third period.
I'm rooting for them. I'm a Rangers fan, but I'm rooting for them. I really am. It'd be nice to see them succeed.
So even if you have a shift change, you still have to only put 4 players out there, even though the player who's in the penalty box isn't in the shift that's coming in.
That's like the whole point of the power play. Like, it's like crucial.
Right, but if it's 4 and 4 for both sides, it's not a power play.
No,
they're just both shorthanded.
Yeah.
So I guess the point is you still have to play shorthanded, even though, see, it would seem to me like, let's say we're a shift of 5 people. Me, Rachel, this pillow, and her bong. Okay, we're a shift of 5 people. And the bong gets in trouble and has to go in the penalty box. Well, then if we change shifts and a new shift comes in, well, this guy's still on our shift. So he's in the penalty box, but he's not on the ice because our shift isn't on the ice, right?
Oh,
it would seem like it should be like that.
I just remember why Crosby gets booed a lot, because he doesn't like to fight.
Puss.
Yeah, so they like
put up your dukes, eh?
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's there. There go the gloves. He's throwing down the gloves.
Yeah, they used to say that they call him a pussy because he doesn't fight. He doesn't like to fight.
Oh, you don't have to shift all 5 out at once? I didn't know that. I thought you had to shift all 5 out at once.
So random.
It's chaos.
That is chaos.
It's exciting to watch because
it really is.
You feel like both teams are about to collapse into chaos at all times, and then they're also making these incredible passes between guys all the way across over there and over here. And
it's like 4 and 4 is actually fun.
And then the goals happen, and then like 3 seconds after you realize what's happened.
Yeah, and then like the goal, the puck looks like it's going in, but then it's the goalie has it, and it's
really fun to watch.
So much fun. I love hockey.
We watched a little bit of women's softball.
That's fun too.
Women's softball.
It's fun hearing them like cheer for each other, and
I probably would have continued watching that game because Arizona started losing, and we were rooting for Pac-12 teams.
It's hard to watch.
But the thing about softball is, as I was saying to Rachel as we were watching it, it's very obvious that softball, that some dudes got together and said, okay, look, the girls are complaining they want to play some sort of sport. Let's make a girl baseball. Okay? Well, let's see. How do we make baseball more girly? Well, we need to make the ball softer, obviously. Only have them do 7 innings because, they're girls. And we need a mercy rule. If they're down by 5 runs, it's only 5 innings. Because, they got feelings and stuff because they're girls. And it should only be able to pitch underhand because, they're girls. And we'll call it softball because they're girls. Now, that's baseball, Jaxiel. Those girls were playing baseball. What I'm saying is softball is great. I don't disapprove of it. I'm just saying it was clearly made up by dudes who had ridiculous notions about adaptations they needed to make for females.
I think actually there's a drunk history on A League of Their Own and The Real League of Their Own, and it was called softball. They didn't call it regular baseball. They called it softball.
Really?
Yeah.
But did they play with the softball? Or is
they played with a softball.
So that was not true in the movie, huh?
Nope.
I believe the movie. My bad.
I believed the movie too. Who knew? That's why Drunk History is like a good show because it's like you get another perspective on.
Well, the cool thing about the olden days was when guys made up sports for girls, they also got to pick what kind of clothes they wore. So even though they're playing a sport. ideally we can still objectify them sexually while they're playing their sport. So we'll dress them in these little mini skirts, and it's like sort of like lingerie football.
Oh yeah.
It's just when I think about softball, I think there's no way the girls got together and said, we want to play baseball. But you know what? Those hard balls are going to break our nails. I don't like throwing overhand because I throw like a girl. So let's change the rules to make it, I don't know, faintly condescending to us all the time.
Thanks, emailed Anthrax. I appreciate it.
Hi, what is this? What is what? This is Eric.
This is Rachel.
This is the greatest thing that's ever happened to you in the history of your life. Americans were so crazy about baseball back in World War II that when the men went to war, they watched women play. Can you imagine? What's this stream about? Well, Niffy, it's about the truth that's inside your heart. It's about the feelings that you feel every day. It's about the thoughts that clutter your brain and interfere with your animal existence. It's about the clouds and the rain, the sun and the moon, the mountains and the seas, waves of amber grain, purple mountain majesties, kitty cats everywhere. There was a girl who was on the football team when I was in high school. There's a lot of times nowadays, the girls will be, especially place kickers on football teams, because everyone wants to pat themselves on the back for being so forward-minded or whatever. It's, again, mostly just condescending. But, it's like when girls play basketball, they don't play a modified version of basketball with smaller balls and lower nets and allowed to take 3 steps instead of 2, and you can only shoot free throws like this. Right?
Oh my gosh. Tearing your ACL is pretty easy while playing sports if
It's your
you get a bad hit.
Anticipatory cruciate ligament or whatever.
Is it? I don't remember.
Oh, the ball is smaller? Okay, fine. The ball is smaller, but a little bit smaller. There are ladies, you're right. There are women's basketballs in this.
That's so funny.
I forgot about that. It's been a while since I used to play basketball. But
I'm so glad to know all these charming facts about women's sports.
But it's not the case that they changed the rules of the game. It's a little different in the fact that women's basketball in college has 4 quarters and men's has 2 halves, I think. I think women play a little bit less time in a game than men, but
I mean, I'd be okay with
basically
that.
Equivalent.
I would be okay with that. I'd take a little less time. I would have enjoyed it more. I would have enjoyed playing sports more if it was like, hey, you don't have to play. This isn't that serious.
They used to call it a girl's ball. What's a girl's ball? Shit Bus versus Eric boxing competition, 3 rounds. Who wins? I don't know, Shit Bus. I've no idea who you are, what you look like, or if you're even in the same weight class as I am. I am a cruiserweight. Cruiserweight, which means I cruise to victory, no matter what weight class I fight in. No, it actually means I'm between 175 and 200 pounds. I'm clocking in at a stern 190. But I'll cut a little weight before the fight. My dad pointed out I'm putting on a few pounds the other day.
I'm so afraid for the day that he tells me that.
He's not going to tell you that.
He won't?
No.
He tells Pee-Pee that.
Yeah, but she's not gonna tell you that, I don't think.
Okay. I hope not, because that's so sad. Like, I know I've gained weight.
No shit, but it's not the same at all. You can see me and you know who I am. It's very different.
Yeah, we have no idea who Shitbus is.
We do know that he's in town, though. Okay, if we fight bare knuckle, we have to fight like this the whole time.
Hi, Pee-Pee.
Old-timey style.
Put him up. Put him up.
Okay, I guess I'm feeling like we're winding to a close here. If anybody has any pressing questions, thoughts, concerns, complaints, queries, quandaries, or Kwanzas, please don't be afraid to raise those matters before the presiding judges, Rachel and Eric, in this unofficial court of official law. No? Maybe play a song or two? That sounds nice.
I think I'm going to pass my voice's shot.
Okay.
Feel it in my throat.
Yeah, I know. My voice is shot too. Shit, Bess, I never agreed to fight you. I never requested to fight you. I don't even know who you are. All I know for sure is that you're a shitty bus. I had one bass line being played on the guitar normal, unaffected. I had one copy of it that was pitch shifted down an octave. And then I had the solo guitar part. I put wah and a little kind of distortion and stuff. Probably man-made, COVID. Sure, I'll do that. It's called... We call it the brooding song. I don't know. We call it I'm So Sad. It doesn't really have a name. It just has the lyrics and I guess titles are important to songs, but the thing about it is, unlike other things, songs imply a title, which is their chorus. You know, you expect Don't Stop Believing, Hold On to That Feeling to be titled Don't Stop Believing.
Yeah.
There's nothing really else that works like that with titles.
No.
So titling is somewhat less important in songs than in anything else. In other words, the title is kind of always one of the lyrics. And when the people title it a weird title, like Anthony's song, instead of I'm Moving Out, or some other, is that what it's all about?
Yeah, that's Anthony's
because that's
song.
Moving Up because I'm moving out. You start to call it Moving Up, Moving Out, or Is That What It's All About, or something like that. But instead it's called Anthony's song. So that's confusing. So what ends up happening? They have the title, Anthony's song, and then in parentheses they have the real title, Moving Out or Moving Up or whatever, So
I think the parentheses is in Anthony's song.
Oh, you mean the parentheses is around the real title?
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. That's even more just the point being you should just let your song be titled what people call it, I guess.
I gotta get my coffee.
You do your thing, girly girl. Do your thing. Just brooding here won't do any good. but brooding's more and more my style. I seek the cheery ways of standing where we stood, 'cause I've been stuck here a while. That's despite a natural selfishness that makes it easy to have fun. A flutters in the gut, become a fist, and all my visions come undone. I tried to strum distracting during the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For reasons still unsaid, still I need get out of me what's inside my head. It seems like everybody's so sensitive, so ready to just get mad. I seek the simple ways of living like a kid, 'cause who wants to be the dad? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Have we lost our sense of scope and scale? Our capacity to laugh? The sense to know when not to wail, and how to tip the golden calf. I tried to string distractions in the afternoon away, but heavy new realities bear down on every day, and for a bit I am out of it. For reasons still unsaid, but still I need it out of me. What's inside my head? And still I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Still I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, and what you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Still I'm sad, sad for me, sad for her, unhappily, unhappily. What you call sorrow, I call home. Blues that sink clear down to the bone, down to the bone. Pardon me, sir, of which bone do you speak? Oh, he came here with her, and what's the big problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming to blame things on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you refraining for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Yeah, you guys both have louts invested. That's not a reason to stay around. Through the years, we've both been tested. Time to move up, find higher ground. Oh, he came here with her, and what's the problem that you can't endure? You seem so sure it's not appropriate claiming the blinkings on Scott. Despite getting caught, he's got you reframing for him, straining for him, going to the gym to make yourself good enough again. Be done with him. Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome.
Play one more song. And then I'm gonna go because I actually for the first time in a long I can't remember the last time this happened, but I didn't get a blister, but it's almost like a blister on my thumb right there from trying to get that bass line I played in that grandma song down. Hi, Running Fox. It's been a long time since I rock and rolled. What's going on? You been running, foxing, all out of contraction? I'm not a callous phallus. Probably not. Yeah, you're right. Do I not respond to your emails?
No sauce.
Some folk call me a rambling man because I do a lot of thumbing and a kicking cans. I don't do an answer, kids call me names. My daddy was a well wardrobe. I wasn't born to raise no ghetto, so I was looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout living, no want any part of anything they're giving. Proud and white, and I got time to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you got to hump and get it. So I was looking for a place to do my thing. Hi, Shreds McGee. I'm shredding. McGee and straight out my PN. I'm going to PN. I'll play. What was I gonna say? Right. Well, I'm gonna find me a wealthy woman in a line of work that don't take no diploma, 'cause I ain't got much to lose but lots to gain. I ain't a good time fella, but I ain't no black, but I ain't no yellow. So I'm looking for a place to do my thing. I don't need no handout, living, don't want any part of anything they giving. I'm proud of mine, I got time to sing. I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. So I'm looking for a place to do my thing. Small town boy, been around a little, and I like guitar and I like the fiddle, 'cause that's the kind of soul to the fan my flame. We're up, Billy, feared and ready. I've got to work on to be somebody, so I'm looking for a place to do my thing. I don't want no handout, living, don't want any part of anything they give. I'm proud of mine, I got all the time to sing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. So I'm looking for a place to do my thing. But I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. So I'm looking for a place to do my thing. Well, I said a few things and I'll admit it. If you want to get ahead, you gotta hump and get it. A wild boy looking for a place to do my thing.
Yeah, that was rocking.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
What a wonderful lady you are.
Thank you.
I'll tell you what, guys. I'm going to enjoy a fresh and refreshing cigarette with you.
Yeah.
And maybe even a fresh and refreshing bong rip.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, I would like to, like, bong rip a little bit more.
Yeah. Well, I've been on, making sure I have been keeping the patter going. Now it's time to just relax, take off our bras on the couch, and have a Coors Light, like the lady in the commercial.
Yeah, exactly. I forgot about that commercial.
That's a real American lady living a real American life, coming home from work, passing on the couch, taking off her bra inside her shirt, throwing it aside, cracking a Coors Light. Coors Light. Coors Light, the beer, the no bra beer, or whatever it says there. Something like that, yeah.
I don't remember.
The point is, it is true. I can attest. I think most people can. That alcohol is a good way to get girls to take off their bra.
Yeah, it is. It's been proven.
It's proven effective.
In college, yeah, in colleges around the nation.
I'm not saying that I habitually approach things that way, but I've been known to encourage a date to consume alcohol.
I mean,
no, I don't drink, but please have another margarita.
That's funny.
I theorize that music happens when I push my fingers down on that thing. That's about the extent of my music theory. That's my theory. When I push on this, notes come out. Musics. Assorted sounds and other sounds. Look at this. I can wear this hat this way, too. It's a two-way hat.
Wow, a two-way hat.
This is totally a two-way hat. I mean, the thing is, I know all my intervals. Like, I can go. When I took music theory for a quarter or a trimester, I guess, in college, and I remember the songs that he taught us to recognize the intervals. So he'd say, if you want to be able to sing a major sixth, sing the first interval in Love Story. The first one is a major sixth. If you want to sing a perfect fifth, the song he sang to us when I was in college was a commercial he knew from childhood, which I had never heard before, but I know from him singing it to us in class, which is K-Lo, dog food for dogs. So that's how I learned the fifth is. I mean, I knew it before, but I didn't know what it was called or anything. I didn't think about it in terms of fifths and stuff like that. So, K-Lo, Dog Food for Dogs is the fifth, and then Here Comes the Bride is a perfect fourth. Here comes the bride, that's perfect fourth, and I forget which one is a major seventh. Oh, it's Maria. Or that that song. I sang it wrong, but I think it's that Maria song from West Side Story. I think that starts with a major seventh.
Wow.
You got no special person. I got you no special person. Oh. Oh well, I'd rather hear whatever your best shit is, Legends Fall. Send me what you think your best stuff is. I want to critique. It's like basically it's like it's almost impossible for even one of my own tracks to make it onto my Chappy Tracks playlist. So I respect very much the art making process of people doing it. I also recognize that there are, there's 86 songs or whatever on that playlist, but there's millions of songs that don't make the cut. So it's like what we're going for here is such rarefied air that I primarily just feel like a fellow traveler. I'm not. Basically, what I'm saying is, I probably will have either medium positive feedback or some constructive criticism, rather than simply embracing it wholeheartedly, because that's what I am about my own music too. Even the very best of them, I'll listen to it and sigh, and think, well, I wish it were a little better produced here, or I wish I had done something a little differently, or Yeah, I like it, but I like it is different than I'm wholly satisfied to the point of nonstop enthusiasm, which is what I want to experience. I want to be like, holy shit, this thing that I just made is so good. I cannot stop listening to it and singing it constantly. And oh my God, and everybody I play it for, they cannot stop listening to it and thinking about it constantly. That's how good I want it to be. If it's not that good, it's not good enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so easy to make less than brilliant music that it's practically worthless. I mean, that's how it feels to me. Now, I don't think it's always the case that people find it easy to make a lot of different stuff. Like, I listened to about 6 to 10 They Might Be Giant songs I never heard before today. And one of them was just released 2 days ago. They've got hundreds of songs. They're an ENTP band. They've got lots and lots and lots of great songs. And yet, simply because they have so many, it's unavoidable that you undervalue them, because it's like, if somebody else were doing this song, I'd think, wow, that's a great song by this other band. It kind of sounds like They Might Be Giants, but wow, it's a great song. I probably make my list. But I've listened to so much They Might Be Giants and so many of their songs that sort of I'm always just listening for how he's going to deviate from and vary on his existing lexicon of phrasings and stuff. He likes the main songwriter in that band likes to do a lot of like that kind of shit, Well, I mean, that's true. There can be brilliance in failures. There has to be brilliance in failure for the failure to be truly tragic, right? That's where the tragedy comes in. I'll check it out, Legends Fall. I haven't checked my email today. I was working on my grandma song, right? It was one of those things that I had no intention of doing anything of the sort, and before I knew it, I was 7 hours into the project. It took me about 7 hours, I think, to do the whole thing.
I mean, the truth is that, like, you don't check your phone that often.
I check my phone more often than my email.
True. Yeah.
You're an INTP in a jazz band? Do you play the vibraphone?
Ronnie Fox, like, it's so good to see you again. I feel like, are we like syncing? I remember we used to like say the same thing at the same time. Those were the days.
We're fine.
Why am I nostalgic?
69 Q. Here's the thing. If the phone goes straight to voicemail, is because it's not on my person when it rings. When the phone
Also-
rings, I answer it. Unless it says like spam risk or something, or unless it says like 1-800 yeah, and it'll say the name of it. It's like
yeah,
but I basically always answer the phone when I hear it ring.
Yes, you do.
I don't look at the number typically.
No. A lot of times, it's not the right time. Yeah, that's the last song that Eric worked on. Running Fox is Grandma's Dark Secret. It's really good. We listened to a lot of his old music last night, and that was really fun too. Like going through his progression of work with different people. Like it was a lot of fun. And then the night before that, we were practicing. Thank you, Ike Ogie.
Amian, you're the best. You're absolutely spectacular. Thank you for your generosity. It's humbling. I appreciate it. Well, Janice, somebody else may have sung a grandma song about banging her grandma on flamingos, but my grandma song is actually about my grandmother.
Yeah, it really is.
It's about my actual grandmother, who actually was the first woman pharmacist in Arizona.
Do we exist?
I mean, can we find an instance of ourselves? That's really the question. From a logic perspective, existentiality is predicated on instantiation. So it's like if you create an instance of something, then an instance of a thing establishes existence. But so it's like, do dolphins exist? Well, can you find one instance of a dolphin? Yes. Well, then they exist.
So I have a question. When Facebook went public and a person decides to deactivate their profile, do they keep all the pictures?
Almost for sure.
Yeah.
To the best of my knowledge, the way the Facebook legal language is, they own everything you put up there.
Wow.
That's my understanding of the language, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert
I thought it was
on.
A bad idea.
I'm not an expert on Facebook's contractual language, but I remember last time I looked at it, so I concluded that they own. I think somebody told me that, and I was skeptical, and I looked at it, and I concluded they were right. But I could be wrong about
it. If you don't
are we one or are we multiple? Well, we're one species, multiple instances.
What he's saying.
So you're an instance of a human, and I'm a different human. I'm another instance. Either of us is sufficient to prove the existence of humans in general. If you're talking about yourself, then existentiality and instantiation are identical. In other words, you're never going to have more than one instance of running fox. So as a consequence, existentiality and instantiation are definitionally equivalent, or logically equivalent.
Running fox, are we human or are we dancer? That line is so funny. That song is so mediocre, in my opinion. What do you think of that killer song?
Are we human? Or are we dancers? Is that how it goes? I've never heard it before.
Basically.
That's how it sounds like it should go with that kind of name.
He tries to put emotion behind it.
Oh,
look at all those photos of me with my dress that I deleted.
I was waiting for mine. I'm just not actually looking for this. So I pushed the wrong button. Because I want to upload something to this. Yeah, I want to upload. Yeah, and what's it called? MP3s from Dropbox. Upload 316 files to this site? Yes. I do trust Google Drive. Actually, after all, I pay them for the 2 terabytes worth of storage space I have. I got 2 terabytes, everybody. Why? Because I got a bunch of random shit that just takes up space. Pigeon toad. You heard of liminal spaces? A liminal space is a location which is a transition between 2 other locations or states of being. I've not heard that expression, I don't think.
Okay, really though, like ENTP, I have not met anyone so ENTP as Eric. Like, I've only met really 2 ENTPs in my whole life, and he's textbook. Pigeon toe, cross-eyed. I mean, let's just add like bum leg.
Bum leg, shrapnel in the stomach, liver cancer. These are the kind of things you look for in his partner. A liminal space. Well, I mean, I am very interested in the idea of state change. The thing is this. There are some things that break down binarily, which is to say that are appropriately understood through TI parsing. There are other kinds of things. That's not a cat, that's a peacock. There are other kinds of things that don't work like that. You know, we can see it as straightforward as logic and emotions. I can be both sad and happy at the same time. I can't be both sad and not sad at the same time, logically. But he sounds like a fun guy. I didn't know Coco's had a beach location.
I don't know where Cocoa Beach is.
Well, hopefully it's right after Ski Slope Beach. So when you get to the bottom of that, you can have yourself some. I should look up Mark Rabelais. Here's the thing. I realized this one day when I showed Cameron some media by my favorite media making ISTJ. I could tell immediately, oh, he doesn't want to watch another ISTJ be an ISTJ successfully, particularly. It's not especially interesting to him. He'd rather be the person doing that rather than watching it. And that's how it is, I think, probably for for either subjective types or extroverted types. I think for objective introverted types, it's not so much like that. It's TI down.
So, like, for me, I feel like, so that'd be me watching Frank James, and I can watch his skits pretty well. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, why? It's so true. But then there's other times where he's talking about like serious stuff that just hits home, and I'm like, I can't listen to this because this was me back then, and
back then you probably found those things like they spoke to you.
Yeah, I had to stop listening. Like, it's like unhealthy signs of an INFJ, like, and then like he was talking about like drinking. He's always like questioning it.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, I'm hopping up.
I'm
a flamingo. Who says this?
Okay, I'll mute over here so I don't get copyrighted. This is like very ENTP. Kind of reminds me of my very old, which you can't access anymore. My first Rap and Eric video, where I was shirtless in front of this keyboard and it's spray painted silver. I will watch it. I gotta mute right now, okay?
Yeah. Okay, polymath.
Yeah, there's little doubt that guy is an ENTP. It's shocking.
Out?
It's shocking that he has so many views on that. It's just like, wow, you pulled it off. I don't know. I typically don't spend much time trying to determine or figure out FI. Although I will ask some questions that help me try to place it if I'm confident about which side of the stack it's on. It's much easier to try to determine whether TI is front stack. And if it's not, then obviously FI is front stack.
Hey, Sean Ryan Barron.
It's additionally easier to determine if FE is front stack, and if not, then FI is front stack. You know, so FI tends to be the thing that you use the process of elimination on rather than incorporating in the process of elimination process.
It gets vulgar later on, the Flamingo song.
Yeah, I listened to it. We got that far. We got that far. When the beat dropped, and yeah, we listened to it. And you know, it's good when the beat drops. And the thing is, he's definitely freestyling that whole thing. And doing a pretty good job of it.
So any ignoring is so weird.
I understand exactly what's going on as he's doing that. It's I wouldn't make those same artistic decisions, but I can put myself in his shoes and see what I can imagine myself being where he is in terms of age and development and why he made those decisions and why they're mostly good decisions, and it works for him, and it's kind of encouraging, frankly, because it's like I find it much less nuanced than stuff I do now, I guess, but it's like if that thing can catch on with that many views, then surely something I can as well, because it's not like that's a song you're gonna have on a playlist, right? You're not gonna listen to that song over and over again because you like it so much. You're gonna check out this weird shit with somebody, and they're gonna watch it one time and blah. I mean, if that were the case, I'd be the biggest YouTube channel in the world. Legends Fall. If that made you famous, I'd be the biggest YouTube channel in the world, because you know, it's mostly about, I guess it's mostly about an ensemble effect. You know, it's like you got to get a lot of different components right. So the number one thing that probably helped that video work is it probably has a really weird, cool looking thumb that makes you want to click it. And then it's weird enough to keep your attention for the short period of time it requires before the beat drops. And you'll probably get almost to the end before you end it, even if, like me, you're not a very good audience member for that. So in that regard, it's a great YouTube video because it has a lot of different things that help it to succeed. I agree. He's legitimately a great musician. When the beat drops, I realized it as well.
I was like, whoa.
No, I agree with you, but it doesn't make it a good song, right?
No.
It's an interesting piece of art, but it's not a good song. Kind of like my grandma song. My grandma song is a better song than that,
Yeah.
but perhaps a less interesting piece of art. But I think ultimately a more interesting piece of art because it's more subtle and it's from a fully mature ENTP.
Mm-hmm.
But that could be personal taste. If you appreciate what he's doing, great. I appreciate that too. I love the fact that people are out there appreciating ENTP stuff because it suggests that there's a market for stuff that's not necessarily they're not necessarily going to be successful by making a bunch of playlists that people like to listen to over and over again, right? Which is what I'm trying to go for more. My songs in general, the ones that are on my best greatest hits list, are almost entirely regular songs, full like written songs. The thing I uploaded today, Grandma's song, all the first vocals tracks of that were all freestyled, and I just went over and doubled them with other vocal tracks. But the freestyle came out great just the way it was. I didn't want to change any of the words or anything. It was perfect. So it's like when you do it a lot, sometimes it's the best way to get something accomplished. The thing I put up today only took me 7 hours total to make. That guy probably took less time than that to make that. All the time was in setting up the green screen and stuff. And then he may have done 2 or 3 different takes of it. Or he may have just done one take and said, I like it, good, put it up. That's a trippy thing about YouTube. Because I put tons of time and work into polishing and videos I just throw together, and sometimes they're much more successful. So it's tricky. It's a tricky business. Can INFJ have very well developed TI? No, yeah, they can for sure. It really depends on what the FE situation the INFJ is raised in. I OGM in. Just shoot me a day and time you want, and I'll book it for you. You've already paid for it, so sure, no problem. Just shoot me an email or a text saying the day and time you want in Los Angeles time, please, because I'm not good at converting from international time. I'm afraid I'm going to fuck it up. And almost for sure I'll just confirm it because my schedule is not that booked or anything, not that full. And then, but if for whatever reason it lands on something that I already got something booked, then I'll shoot you back an alternate time, probably a couple of alternate choices, or you can shoot me another choice or whatever. But very rarely do people want a slot that's already taken. Yeah. So anyway, if an INFJ is raised in a family that basically delivers successful FE results when the INFJ displays TI as a subject, then TI will be subsumed as part of their tool function, and they'll get very good at least displaying good TI as a subject because that's what the environment requires them to do to display good FE. But if the environment doesn't require that, or even worse, ignores or punishes it, as if you've got, like, say, an ESTJ and an ESFP couple, they're going to ignore and punish their child's TI. In that case, you would have somebody who is avoidant of TI because it doesn't get them results, and instead, then they manifest it purely as like the way they test to make sure the world's okay. Is it at least fair? And then that's how that turns out. But if the circumstances allow them to be FE successful by being TI smart, you could turn out like Sam Harris. Sam Harris is an INFJ. You might think, oh, his TI is too good for INFJ. No, it's not. INFJs are perfectly capable of being correct with their TI and successful at it. the thing that makes it quote unquote not as good, quote unquote, is that it's not as fast. So they have to think it out more, whereas INTP will just for process automatically is going along with it. And the INTP might lose the tension part way. But TI is pleasantly binary. If you stop at the red light successfully and go at the green light successfully, it doesn't matter that much how quickly or slowly you decelerate and accelerate. At the end of the day, all parties either, if they do the same behavior, either broke the red light law or they didn't. And that's how TI works. So it's like, is Maz TI as strong as Maz TI? Well, is it in what instance? Is it as correct? Well, correct is correct. It either is or it isn't.
What do you mean since mom's 7x7? I'm in my 7-year cycle until I'm 65 or something. Maybe even later than that. I think 75. And so I've been looking up the number 7 a lot. It's very interesting stuff to me. I like entertainment, stuff like that. That's mostly what I do on my phone. Mostly what I do on my phone is tarot stuff, zodiac stuff, and playing
TikTok. Mario
Run.
When it's a series of sudden blasts of random noises, I know she's on TikTok.
Yeah, that or Instagram, right? Yeah. Yeah, I actually got rid of my TikTok because of all the crazy loud noises. It's too much for me. I felt like I was getting yelled at.
Well, one of my Venus moons started bullying one of my Pluto moons. I had to go out there and break it up. That's it was just like, hey, you guys, remember, we choose to be yods or squares, or we choose to be in alignment. What are you guys choosing right now, moons? You're choosing to be yods and squares. And they were ashamed of themselves. I shamed them into changing their behavior. Uranus is TI tilted.
Yeah, that's funny. It is tilted. And it goes backwards. Hey, Trouble.
We should call all planets with irregular orbits FI orbits.
Western or Vedic? What type of astrology are you into, Winston's mom?
There's a third kind of astrology that people don't talk about so much. It's called Eric's greatest version of astrology. And it's my special version.
Thank God, because I'm so tired of hearing about
I hear your trouble. Boy.
Wow. Do you guys hear him?
Aren't you suddenly demanding a title? You bring us one dead bird, you think you own the place. Here you go, buddy. Here you go, Mr. Man. Entitled, huh?
Yeah.
Browning me like it's nobody's business.
I'm surprised.
Okay, we about ready to wrap this up?
Yeah.
I think so too. I would like to personally thank everybody for being here, but especially a gentleman whose name rhymes with Mike, rhymes with Pike, rhymes with bike, but has one fewer letter than all three of those words, each of those three words, namely Ike. Yes, everybody likes Ike, and why? Because he's dressed in a tuxedo and he's dropping Benjamins. Give that song another listen. I don't think I've listened to it before. I will listen to your song you sent me, though. Trying to pay for studio time for a collaboration album was a hassle because we were trying to make it ultra fair. Who was this person? Oh, your INFJ brother? Are you in a bandy with them or something? What types are very elusive by nature? I mean, if you chase them in the woods, they'll get away? Is that what you mean by elusive? It's difficult to catch them when they're running away from you? Okay, I have. Okay. But what about the most recent one? I didn't reply to the most recent one, did I? I would say probably ISFPs are the most elusive. You know, chasing an ISFP is like chasing the wind. You're right behind them. Like, where did they go? God damn these elusive ISFPs.
Yeah, like I have no idea where PP is right now. Where is she?
I don't know. Out painting his house pink, I guess.
Aw.
Good karma, Fala came your way. What's Fala? Is that your phallus? Are you talking about giving me your penis, karma?
Is that what's going on there?
I want it.
No.
Please keep that dirty thing away from me. Those things are dirty.
Hi, Nicolo Herstov.
Which types are the least likely to get chased?
Like, how do you mean?
ISTJs.
Like by people? Like,
well, in the woods, you know, chasing the woods. Who see, you know, the real question is, which type is the most chaseable in the sense that all the other types are going to feel like chasing them? So I would say that's definitely ISFP. Like, what's that guy doing over there? The ISFP like a scared little rabbit goes. As fast as possible.
that's so funny. I can see that too.
Well, and the thing is, if you chase an ISTJ, you're going to say, oh, whoa, 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 whoa. You aren't chasing me with that dirty rag, are you? You aren't going to chase me in those shoes. Here, come here. Put these shoes on. These are better chase shoes. No, I got them in your size. I got them in all sizes. It's in my car. Okay, now you're ready to chase me. Never mind. I don't want to chase you anymore. You made it all TE.
I have a question. Where is the weed?
Which type is most likely to pee in the middle of the street while eating a cheeseburger? I would say it's Gainsburger, 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 Gainsburger. I don't know where the weed is. We apparently lost it.
How the heck?
How the heck do we lose
Yes.
the weed that we smoke almost constantly every day?
Am I sitting on it?
Am I sitting on it?
No. Oh, there it is.
Silly weed. Always hiding away from us.
Yeah.
I want a cup of coffee, but I've lost my coffee cup again.
I got some coffee creamer on my nose.
Is that your coffee cup? Is it the sun or the cat?
The cat's yours, the sun's mine.
I know, but what's that one?
This is the sun.
Okay.
So you lost yours.
Yes. Yeah, there it is. Hey. It is the microwave.
You're consistent.
The problem is I don't remember if I put it in the microwave, didn't heat it up, and just walked over here, or if I put it in the microwave, did heat it up, and never took it out and put creamer in it. If I did heat it up already before, then when I take it out this time, it's going to be super hot, and it'll melt the coffee creamer really well, but I'll have to wait a little bit before I can drink it. You have to blow on something. However, if I didn't do it last time, then it will be the right temperature right now. So we'll find out. I will learn based on the temperature in a minute whether or not I have double heated this or not, you know.
Whenever I am looking for something, I always think of Eric's impression of his mom saying, "Look with your eyes."
Yeah. Eric, you need to look with your eyes. You're not looking.
Was she right?
You're assuming I would like the heavier full band version better? Maybe. You know what happens when you assume legends fall? You make an ass out of you. You know what I would like? I would like some aliens to land in, middle America, and they'd be rushed by all these journalists at a big press conference. And it just turns out that the aliens are incredibly boring technocrats. Just like, oh, well, we're here mostly because we've got a paperwork requirement. Back on Ultron 4, we need a triplicate form. We need, I guess, what, 4, 5, 6? We need 6 ruling world leaders from the world to sign this. You'll get your receipt back in 4 to 6 light years. And they're like, wait, what are you talking about? Oh, jeez. Bob, can you read me the spiel, please? You're hereby visited by aliens around the world. Okay, can we get on to the business, please? Yeah. Right. The tariffs. Yeah. We're implementing some tariffs on your world. Don't worry, it's I'll explain the tariff structure for you. It's 4%, except in instances where the cargo is valued at over 10% beyond the natural profit margin, which is determined by the derivative of the price of the commodity in question at the time of sale divided by the derivative of the price at the end of the sale. You guys understand?
That would be.
It'd be such a letdown, right?
Yeah, that would be.
The aliens were just like
my
that.
Gosh, we would not get along probably.
They're just like sunken-eyed, overworked ENTJ CEO guys. Like, I've fallen asleep while they're meeting with you. Oh, I am swamped. Targon, can you hand me that bottle of water? No, the fizzy kind they got here. Yeah, that one. Oh, Jesus. They speak perfect English. They speak like kind of a New York accent, you know.
New York accent.
Miss
Hi,
Thang
Miss
is
Thang.
here.
Sorry, I answered to you even though it was directed towards host Eric.
Except one of the aliens I think should be Canadian and only talk about hockey. Oh, get a load of what Crosby did there. Well, the way he dropped that puck was just absolutely spectacular. He drove right in around those defenders, hit that 3-hole before the goalie had any idea what was happening.
What's the average or what's the percent of hockey players who are missing teeth? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, I think all of them get the teeth knocked out at some point.
I think so too. There used to be this broadcaster on ESPN who would broadcast after Islander games, and he had like full tan and stuff, and he had like all his teeth. I was like, he was definitely not a good player, because if he was a good player, he would be missing some teeth.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Barry Melrose. So I remember when I first saw Barry Melrose on ESPN, thinking, that guy doesn't look like a hockey guy, but he sounds like one.
Huh.
Yeah. He sounds like a Canadian kind of talking about hockey, but he looks like he's trying to be a mafiosa or something, the way he dresses.
Really?
It's very strange. I don't know why Barry Melrose dresses like that.
That success versus power.
Status versus power?
Yeah, status versus power.
Mm-hmm.
Makes me want to watch The Godfather again.
It's been a while since I've seen it too. Most alien abduction dreams are speculated. What about the real ones, though? What about the ones that aren't dreams? What are they speculated to be? Okay. So the non-dream alien abductions, what are they speculated to be? I speculate that they're alien abductions. Except the difference between what I think and what a lot of people think is I think that people are being abducted by illegal aliens from Mexico. Have you any dreams you'd like to sell? Yeah, I'll give all of my dreams of becoming professional in various sporting activities. They're all for sale right now. I've got a wholesale. Everything must go. At 50, it's time to give up those dreams. I'm never going to be a professional baseball player. It's just not going to happen. Unless I suddenly develop a mastery of the knuckleball, I guess. You know, if you're a knuckleballer, you can pitch till you're 95 years old. There's a lot of 95-year-old knuckleball pitchers still going in the majors, you know. Phil Necro still pitching, 95. Interestingly, Ty Cobb mastered a knuckleball and is still pitching. He's had over 100 years in the majors now. It's amazing. All thanks to the knuckleball. In contrast, if you try to throw a screwball like Fernando Valenzuela, then you'll have a shorter career because it twists the arm in an unusual way. Knuckleball doesn't. It's just like this. Yeah, I'm just doing it like this. Like, this is going to be so easy to hit. It's just like, why can't I hit this? Oh, I wish I was there the first game somebody threw a knuckleball. And everyone was like, what the hell is going on? The fact that a knuckleball exists and can work in the majors, people can get, like, people have gotten no-hitters with throwing nothing but knuckleballs all game long. Like, Tim Wakefield used to have knuckleballs and a changeup. I think it was like the two pitches. He didn't throw anything above like 75 miles an hour. But that's so great that you could be a shitty pitcher, but if you could just master this one pitch, you could actually be unhittable. Yeah, well, I mean, I already achieved my dream of playing in the Negro Leagues, but I guess that's the thing. They didn't integrate baseball until I was too old. I was playing until still playing the Negro Leagues as of 2018.
Oh.
They just integrated Major League Baseball last year, so.
Do you feel ever like going back to your, like, when you're transracial, that you like go back to those things? Or
well, I just, you know, I sometimes question my decision because it's like we got a lot of grief from the other team. Sometimes we'd show up and I'd be Scandinavian and they'd say, hey, he's not a Negro. And I'd say, I am a Negro, just not today.
oh, so that's how it would go.
They say, you know, they kept saying, you have to be a Negro every day. I said, how can I be a Negro every day? My race changes constantly. What's
your race right now?
Let me check. Falkland Islander. Falkland
Islander. Wow. Where are the Falkland Islands?
Down off the coast of Argentina.
Oh.
My people come from a small island off the coast of Argentina. We're the Falklanders. We have a local soccer team that we like to go see on windy and cold Saturday mornings. My rich, rich Falkland Island heritage. It makes up so much of who I am today and every day.
Are you sure about every day?
I'm assuming every day. I'm basing it just on what I'm feeling right this second.
Right.
I'm just extrapolating in
That's
both directions forever.
Okay. That's what I was trying to get at. But that's great. I'm so glad that you love your nation so much.
Does FINI seek for truth like TINI? Yes. Because you're talking about ISFPs. Yes. Who else? Who else is FINI? Or like INTJs. Yes. ISFPs, yes. INTJs, yes. Who else has that? I guess you could say ENTJs have that, but ENTJs, no. Who else has that? Look, Genexial, I don't understand your logic. Whether or not the UFOs are on mushrooms does not impact how I see them. They're the ones hallucinating.
Who's hallucinating?
The UFOs. Genexial says it's a hard sell. I saw 3 UFOs while on shrooms. I didn't see the wow before. Oh. Now it makes more sense.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense now. I've seen like...
I saw 3 UFOs while on shrooms. I've been on shrooms lots of times, and I've never seen any UFOs. So if I were to see a UFO on shrooms next time, why would I conclude that it's from the shrooms? Shrooms have never made me see things that don't exist before. It's like, I remember when I was tripping super balls on acid one time in Santa Cruz, when I took like half a hit of this stuff. They said, be careful, this is really, really strong. So I took half a hit. It was still too much. And like, I sat by the clock and watched it going forward a minute, backwards a minute, forward a minute, backwards a minute. And, you know, but even in that time, I recognized, you know, I didn't think the clock's actually doing that. I just thought, man, I'm tripping balls. And if I did see a UFO under that condition, I wouldn't think it was a UFO. I would assume I was tripping, you know. People who are really tripping hard enough to actually hallucinate, full blast hallucinations like that, they'd be idiots to not attribute what they see to that, right? I didn't say ENTJs are basically sensors. Oh, Bo Fett did. Yeah, but the UFO, even though it means unidentified flying object, people use the term to mean extraterrestrial flying object, probably, intentionally directed rather than a meteor or something. I mean, there's plenty of weird shit that people see up in the sky. Unidentified aerial phenomena. Probably they do call them UAPs. the thing is, I understand very much the mindset that says, if in fact aliens had visited the planet with any regularity or frequency, then we'd have better proof than we do. I respect that argument, and it intuitively seems to resonate, right? But the fact is, how good the proof we have currently is depends somewhat on how many instances of phenomena you investigate, right? And I don't know, if you investigate a lot of the stuff, you're going to hear a lot of convincing reasons to think that something non-normal, either supernatural, extraterrestrial, or something, occurred in a given circumstance. Now, is in fact that pursuit of all that information defining for a given individual the frame of reference? So they start saying, well, see, with all these different pieces of evidence, because of course they're spending all of their time looking at such pieces of evidence, so they think there are all these different pieces of evidence, right? The point is, that there's enough stuff out there that for which any explanation that doesn't involve some heretofore unknown agency doesn't make any sense, really. That doesn't necessarily mean it's aliens, right? But what I'm saying is there are instances that we would typically attribute to aliens, and enough instances with enough solidifying data and other stuff like that, that we would say for some of these things, it makes very little sense to imagine having occurred in any way that's not involving at least some unknown hidden agent, be it a government agency that launches some secret test flight of something that we see as or these tandem night drops. Apparently, the things over Phoenix, people were saying it was like military flares, but then it certainly doesn't look like anything like that. But eyes can be very tricky. So a lot of times when we look at, like when you drive by an airplane that's landing, if you're going a certain speed, it'll tend to look like it's standing still. And sometimes you see videos of what appear to be planes that are just standing still in the sky, but it's just a trick of perspective. And then with the addition of drones into the mix, it makes it very much more difficult to trust that something in the sky isn't just a drone. It's very easy to fake stuff that's actually in the sky now, much more so than it used to be with drones. So, but I mean, there are instances that I've read reports about of stuff that happened in military at various sites and stuff, nuclear sites or other military installations that seem to have a lot of, at least the storyline being reported is doesn't seem to be people trying to make up bullshit or whatever. They're trying to frame it as neutrally as possible, and so it makes me give it like, okay, so let me look at what they're actually saying here. Man, what this is weird. Yeah, it's like I still don't have any explanation for something. Now, I am not somebody who thinks the moon landing was faked. Okay, let me make that abundantly clear. I do not think the moon landing was faked. However, I will also tell you this. I would be hesitant to say I know it wasn't faked because that would be indicative of the fact that I could justify that claim or prove it, right? So what tripped me out is somebody came in here and said moon landing stuff. And I was like, yeah, whatever, moon landing person. And he said, well, Google moon rocks. And I Googled it, and this is the thing. Remember, I have many years of experience listening to people make bullshit arguments and try to cover up their bullshit and to just be able to spot it and go, wait that second here. Well, these articles I was reading were about how it used to be claimed that moon rocks, I mean, these were science articles that were talking about new discoveries about moon rocks. First of all, these science articles written like last year about new discoveries about moon rocks that were found on the Apollo mission. Why are they still testing those moon rocks, I wonder? Maybe it's because of new technology. Now they've got a new, better scan that makes it so that they can get better readings. Except when you actually read the article, the scientists who reported these results explicitly said, no, it's not because of that. We're not sure why we never got this sample before, and we don't have any answer for you. Now, why did we go decades after the Apollo landing with conventional wisdom being that there's strong evidence that the Earth and the Moon were once one body that got separated into two because moon rocks are almost identical to Earth rocks, right? Basically identical. You can't tell them apart. And now, right as China's about to come back with real moon rocks, all of a sudden scientists are like, oh, hey, moon rocks are different. How bad? Oops. Oopsie. Oh, hey, guys, you remember that Apollo mission we had like 50 years ago? We found this one moon rock that we had left out of the pile before. We never mentioned it before, but we did some testing on this one, and it turns out the moon is really different than Earth. I mean, that seems incredibly weird to me.
Yeah, that's very weird.
You know?
Yeah.
I have no explanation for it. I read multiple articles and stuff trying to figure out what the fuck is going on here.
Yeah.
And the fact is, each of the articles makes clear it's not the new technology that afforded these new results. Yeah, named Thea. Yeah, that was the old theory. It was supported in large part by the data that we got from the moon rocks and the Apollo mission, which showed that the Earth and the moon were identical essentially in composition. But now all of a sudden, as of like a year ago, that's been tossed out the window. Oh no, they're not the same anymore. They're way different now. We're done with this idea of Thea now. Seriously, look it up. Is that weird? Or what?
That's weird.
I mean, genetics, that's what people used to believe. People used to believe that the moon and Earth and all this stuff is because it was a single planet called Thea, and it got hit by a big thing and turned into a planet and a moon. And the primary evidence in support of that was the fact that moon rocks were chemically identical. And then now they're like, what? They were really quite different. Well, what about all those moon rocks you've been studying for 50 years? Oh, I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know. What? That's your answer?
Oh my gosh. That
Tripped
does
me
not
the
look
fuck
good.
out, you know? Well, Google it. Yeah, I'm talking about science journals. I researched it. I didn't leave it to the guy. All the guy said was, well, Google moon rocks. And then I took over as a debate coach and researched it seriously. I could not find, despite my considerable effort, any actual explanation, except I don't know, we don't know, but that's not very important to talk about.
Is Oh my god.
Now look, note, Jaxiel. I am not saying that there aren't still people who are in favor of the Thea idea, despite the dissimilarity. I'm sure there's some explanation for how it got to be dissimilar. People cling to bad ideas for long after they're bad.
Oh, PB wants to come in.
Oh, you're on your phone? Well, god damn it, Jaxiel, get in front of your computer like a real man. You turn it into a girl, Jaxiel. Don't you know that only
Hi,
girls
BB.
use phones? Only girls use phones. Real men use computers. I don't know. The sea of tranquility, however, I've heard is most tranquil. Mm-hmm.
Where do all those, like, you know, class projects where they, like, send things to the moon? Where do they go?
They probably just went to the dumpster and NASA. We got a school project. Can I just put them right here? Put them right in this dumpster here. There we go. All right, that was really nice of the kids to have fill up our dumpster. Oliver Linehan, absolutely it is. It is extremely gay to use a phone. If you see a man in public and they're walking with a cell phone, they're basically screaming, "Come hump me in the butt right now." That's why you'll never see me with a phone. I don't use a phone.
He, like, really doesn't use his phone, though, guys.
Well, I do. I'm not going to lie. But I just carry around my landline. It requires a really long cord. But, you know, we've gotten used to it. Okay, you're right. Well, Legends fall. Obviously not if you say no homo first. Obviously not then. That goes without saying. No homo is the trump card on all matters of sexuality.
Yeah, no homo means...
You're free to do it. No homo, but I'd love to suck on your pole right now. Oh, I was no homo, I guess. 1,000 kilometers tall and several times wide. They're the largest things in the Earth's mantle. My balls? Is that what they're writing about my testicles? I'm surprised to hear that. The largest thing in Earth's mantle, huh? Wow.
New Groove, when was the last time you watched when I was on? I dyed it because my hair would go invisible with the green screen, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody would taunt you. Invisible hair, you've got invisible hair.
I don't want to get taunted.
Right, you didn't want that, so.
Oh, it's a bee.
That would be a shitty superpower if only your hair were invisible.
Yeah, that would be.
What good would that do you?
It wouldn't.
It wouldn't do you any good at all.
No. Well, I guess you wouldn't have to think about it. I don't know.
You'd probably always wear a hat.
I would always wear a hat.
Or I guess you just look bald if your hair was invisible, right?
Yeah. Yes, but.
Bruce? Are you asking if Bruce is here? Bruce? Bruce, are you still here? Ship bus is here for you. You want me to call Uber instead? You don't want to ride on the ship bus? Why not? Oh, you don't want to get shit on your clothes. Okay. He says he wants to go with Uber. How's the lung do these days? How's the lung do?
Pretty mucusy.
Yeah, it's been a mucusy couple of days. I don't think it's really this weed.
No, it's me.
It's both of us, though. It's what happens when we last couple of days we've been sleeping somewhat less, and so we ended up smoking more out of the 24 hours than we would otherwise. I'm already planning to wear a hat. That's wrong. Are you saying Rachel should wear a hat too? Should both people in the couple wear hats? If Rachel wears a hat and it looks like we're being too hatty, then I have to take out my hat.
See,
and I need a hat because I'm bald. Rachel has all of her hair. She doesn't need to cover up her baldness.
you look great with hats anyway. You look classy.
I like wearing hats. I think I look good in hats too. Thank you.
You're welcome. So honestly, Winston's mom, I want to be like I want to feel comfortable in what I wear. And hat would be another accessory. You know what I mean? Like I already have accessories. I'm gonna need sunglasses, my phone, my cards. I'll put them in a clutch. And then there's shoes, jewelry.
Sorry, babe. Jack, the cool thing is this. We can find a pretty solid test to falsify. So what we can do is make a prediction. If you're right, then we're going to see the moon rocks have the same chemical composition as the earth rocks. And if you're wrong, we're going to see them have different chemical composition. Oh, wait. I think they did that test. Oh, yeah, they did. It turns out it's different chemical composition, so they must not originate from the same molten body. It's called falsification. You're ignoring the falsification part. That all the explanation is there to produce a falsification scenario. Once that's been falsified by that scenario, we abandon the bullshit that we had that produced the possibly correct but turned out to be incorrect falsification tool that we're using, right?
Hi, BB.
But if in fact Thea was this big molten body that split into two distinct bodies, then the rocks from the single molten mass would be the same in both bodies, right? Why? Why is it wrong, Boba Fett? It was right until last year. That was why they said, Okay, but why was it such strong evidence in favor of Thea that the rock composition was the same? And now that they changed their mind, it doesn't work in the opposite direction. Why would that be the case? If in fact that was a strong piece of evidence, as they said it was, for Thea, then falsifying that, in fact, that evidence being exactly opposite of the truth, would throw a great deal of doubt upon the whole thing. Well, I mean, the way I've heard it explained before is there was one larger body comprising Earth and Moon, or it may have been smaller than the combination of the two, because then a third body, a second body came in and hit it, like a large meteor or something, and it made a big molten mush that then in the rotation spinning spins off two separate circles. That's how it's supposed to have happened. Like basically accretion disks, but not for stars. No, but my butt's physics is.
Right. And that really makes a lot of sense. Your butt physics.
It's okay. We all lie sometimes.
Yeah, we do.
Earth physics isn't necessarily universal. Well, I mean, some things are kind of universal, like how if I punch you in the face, you're going to be sorry. That's universal. Like, if I'm kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, you better hope I'm not all out of chewing gum. That's universal. But the mechanism is the spinning. It's still spinning even though it's molten. That's why it can this kind of force makes it go into two little like typhoons. If you see the model of it, you know. Not if getting punched is a fetish. I mean, nobody really wants to get punched where it hurts. You know, they want to get sort of stage play punched. They want it to hurt as much as they want it to hurt, which isn't really pain at that point. It's pleasure, right? They don't want it to hurt more than that. From what I read, that like one thing that people a lot of times don't get about BDSM people in communities where you've got like, you know, they're not monogamous and they like have like sex dungeons and stuff, is that within the community, it's understood that the subs have all the actual power and that the doms actually complain somewhat about it. That they have to dom according to the dictates of the subs, and they feel it's like it's somewhat unfair in that regard, you know.
Wow.
Yeah, I read some article about it.
That's so interesting.
I think it was basically an article written by a dumb guy who was responding to accusations that he was like misogynist because he liked to have that kind of sex. And he was saying it's not misogynistic at all. In fact, it's the subs who have all the power. They dictate all their limits. And then you, as a dom, have to work within those constraints. It was an interesting article.
That is an interesting article.
Next, you need to stop calling my semen ejecta, okay? that implies it's disposable. We collect it in big oil barrels out back, 20-gallon barrels, saving it for a rainy day.
Yeah, just for a rainy day.
If somebody needs an emergency massive bukkake,
This guy.
just jump into the vat out back. Shit just went boom one day. No, you gotta understand. What? Why existence and stuff? Because explosion. Wait. So explosion precedes existence? How do you have explosion before you have existence? It's like, okay. So the very first thing in all the universe was this super cool explosion. It's like 8-year-old boys made this shit up.
Yeah, New Groove, that is the real Big Bang.
It's Michael Bay's universal model, right? Universal theory of everything. When in doubt, let's blow some shit up.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like big black holes and it's just like pow 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 pow. That's how our universe was born, right? So, guys, listen. Sometimes when a mommy universe and a daddy universe feel very strongly towards one another, love each other, they do grown-up universe things. And that's why mommy universe's upper galaxy is stuffed in daddy universe's black hole. Now, let me tell you about the wormhole, son. Ew, Dad, stop. Can you at least stop before you tell me about this? This is part of our fetish, son. we like to explain it to people who happen to stop by while we're having sex. You just happen to be the person right now. Next topic, the Milky Way. Oh, so milky. Would you mind if we do this the Milky Way? Yeah, okay. The old Milky. Oh, right. What's the Milky Way? A bit milk. Yeah, right. The Milky Way. Yeah.
Milky Way.
Okay. We live in the semen stain from universe sex? Well, I like to posit that back before I was aware that I existed and was in a state of perfect robotic mind, I basically slab positioned all this stuff, but I can't remember it, so it didn't happen. And that's the origin of all quantum mechanics right there.
Is that a sigh?
It's all my magical backwards slab work. No, this is just Eric's crazy understanding of dark arguments, which says a lot of times in life, what happens is this, that I'll be talking to somebody and maybe having an argument or something, and then I'll realize, oh, that's why I said man 3 days ago, because I would need that today. That I had already said that, but I didn't know that's why I said that when I said it. So it's like it always seemed to me that there's a future me who's going back and secretly informing the past me about what I should do, but the present me is excluded from those conversations entirely. So you see what I'm saying? That's what it feels like to me, and so I just extrapolated from that probably that's where the universe came from. Is future me going back and telling past me what to do while bypassing letting regular me know. But since I can't remember any of it, it obviously didn't happen. Right? Hence quantum mechanics.
That's what I mean.
I just proved quantum mechanics. I have pants on.
Yes, he does.
They're called short pants. It's the newest craze. It's a summer wear.
Are you going for your hot girl body?
I'm mostly going for slightly
hot girl
cooler
summer?
legs than long pants.
Mm,
Mostly going for slightly cooler legs.
that's nice. Slightly cooler is very nice.
But I could just wear long pants and pour milk down in the morning, making them wet, thereby cooling myself.
Would you dunk it?
I could just take a glass of milk and
Yeah.
just pour it right down my pants.
Oh, you just pour it right down?
Yeah. It's a good way to pre-cool yourself and also to guarantee that you attract nursing infants. You'll note if you do this, as you walk around the town, nursing infants will start crawling out of their carriages to come chase after you. But you know what? I want to reassure you, they're easy to outrun. Nursing infants are very slow. You don't need to feel threatened at all. Please don't become alarmed and start kicking them. They can get hurt that way. The Milky Way is the way you render a piece of overly sugared and or dry cake palatable. Poke it with holes and put milk on it. You know, Horse Mumbler, from this day forward, I will understand the Milky Way in a new way, a way that I'll call the Horse Mumbler way.
He's serious.
They're slow until you throw one. throw that fast. Last time I threw a baby at the pitching thing at the carnival, I couldn't get it any higher than 40 miles an hour. I did one time do the pitching game at the carnival. They had this thing where they had a pitching gun to measure your speed of your pitch. And I tried 3 times to throw it as hard as I can. No, this is the problem, Winston's mom. The problem is this. I made a hotel reservation, and then my dad heard that Rachel's parents had paid for the hotel that we were staying in because I don't know, they got some deal or they have timeshare or I don't know.
We have timeshare, yeah.
Yeah. So then he felt like, I want to pay for your other night then. But I had already gotten it, right? But so then he booked me a hotel room in his name, and I'm going to have to go there and say, okay, I am Eric. Here's my cards. So it's like, what I really want to do is tell my dad to cancel his dumb reservation. And if he wants to pay for our hotel room, it's the same thing as he paid for this one. And I tried canceling my reservation by email because I booked it via Google thing and I couldn't figure out who to contact to cancel it if I just call the hotel. And then I had a TE. Yeah, I will deal with this later.
So what's this wedding?
Well, you show rapid improvement at first all around hand, but then you can have a predictable plateau before you discover if you really have what it takes to be a professional infant thrower. You can tell the ones who've got talent by the way the wang sounds as it gets further away. It's got a distinct reverse Doppler effect going on.
What's wrong, PP?
Is the Doppler effect called the same thing whichever direction it's coming in? It was going towards you, it's called the Doppler effect, and it was going away from you? Or does it have a different name for it? Is going away from you the reverse Doppler effect? Inquiring minds want to know, namely mine. Yeah. So, what is it, Ricky Sheep? Like, there are no ground rule doubles. There are no ground rule doubles in infant throwing. Okay, you have to make it all the way out of the stands if you want to get a home run. If it bounces over, it's just treated like a single. An increase or decrease in the frequency of sound, light, and other waves as the source and observer move toward or away from each other. Okay, so it's the same word for both directions. Fine. Baby shot put's a good idea. Also, if we could find particularly sharp babies, we could do baby javelin throw.
Could you put them in a slingshot, or was that already said?
No, that wasn't said. You could put them in a slingshot, but it would have to be fairly large. It would be an alternative to baby shot put. Maybe we could add an event to these pentathlon of baby throwing things. Baby pole vault is tough because what you got to do is you got to find a bunch of very stiff babies and connect them together to make a pole. Almost every time the baby just collapses as soon as you put any weight on it.
Oh my goodness.
It's the Olympics where all the sporting equipment is babies. The Olympics, only all the sporting equipment is babies. So, like, in volleyball, you've got. Oh, God. This is really hurting my wrist bumping this thing. The volleyball players would really be complaining a lot because it's a lot more difficult bumping a newborn baby than it is a volleyball. And baby cigarette swimming, the trick is each of the cigarette swimmers has to keep a baby on top of their head while they're swimming. Whoa!
They're all drowning. They wouldn't know how to swim.
Of course, the least successful are the baby equestrian events because the problem is, even for the smallest adults who are generally qualified to be jockeys, they find that their weight tends to overwhelm the newborn baby as it's doing the steeplechase.
The newborn baby as a jockey. That's so fucking great.
Okay.
Oh my God.
If you're going to joust with infants, you're going to have a hard time of it. You should joust them for safety purposes, foot to foot. So, in other words, you hold the baby with their feet out like this. That way they don't bang heads together, right? It's very safe that way.
That is
And then
so
you
sick.
ride by each other on the horses and you try to push the other person's baby out of their hand with your baby.
Oh my God.
Oh, how tall does the baby have to be to fight in the bullfighting? I don't think they have bullfighting in the Olympics. I'm pretty sure they don't. They, you know, what's really funny event to watch is the baby ski jumper, where they just, you know, your country's real ski jumper just puts the baby on the skis and just pushes it down the hill. Let's see how far it can go. It's more like bowling than ski jumping. You try to get babies with a little shelf in the back of their head that you get their fingers up under there. Look at that baby pie. Boy, that baby looks like he's having a good time up there.
Oh, he's
Oh.
he's done it again. Baby.
Okay, so anyway.
Well, I think the easiest for the baby would be the luge, right? That's so easy for a baby.
Just they're safe too because the whole baby fits inside the luge. Not even their head sticks out. What you gotta do to keep them extra safe, you gotta stuff about 6 or 7 babies in there so they don't move around too much. You don't want them rolling around and banging into the sides.
To protect them.
Yeah, well, you use them like dish towels on the side of breakable objects. You know?
They keep each other safe.
Yeah. It crosses the line. Like, it's a French team. All the French adults are all like, yeah, people are from, yeah. And then the babies are all so crammed in the luge. Who told you our French babies are better? Give those babies some wine. Okay, that is enough. This is almost 4 hours of this nonsense. I cannot believe the nonsense you guys have been saying this whole evening. It's time for somebody around here to get serious. So we're going to end the stream. We're going to have a serious conversation about economics, about world affairs, about, something sad like Bambi dying.
That is sad. Well,
I mean, she's been dead for like 60 years now, so it's not too soon to make jokes about Bambi's death.
oh, that's good.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Don't forget
night.
to eat plenty of
Cheese.